during that time. But basically, that's what they yap about for this whole time. A bad faith argument trying to gaslight people about things that just aren't true. Let me get the third installment of this saga. Asmongold messed up big time.
Oh my god. Bro, where do these people come from? Uh-oh.
It's over. Now, I can't even, criticize this too much. This is definitely a title and thumbnail I would make, so I can't say too much about that. But, again, 24 likes, 139 dislikes. This video is talking about USAID, and Asmongold's reacting to a decoy voice video. And let's just begin by hearing her description of Asmongold, especially when it pertains to his increasing shift towards political commentary.
He totally has the freedom to explore politics on his stream. But if a very large streamer does cover it, I expect a bit more out of them. And so, where there's politics, there is Asmongold falling off.
You heard it here, folks.
I don't know about that.
Asmongold is falling off. He is falling off.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know about you,
that's
but,
too bad.
Asmongold TV channel.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Uploaded 18 hours ago, 1.3 million
Oh,
views.
jeez.
Every video at least
So
getting hundreds of thousands of views. Some hovering
How
on
does that keep
in
happening?
many cases breaking another
Wow.
6 million in 2 days. And then you got the clip
Wow,
channel.
guys.
Same thing with this, 900K in 9 hours, 900K in 22 hours, so on and so forth. Like,
Yeah,
it's also
guys.
just statistically speaking, the biggest political commentator on Twitch right now. So he's falling off. That's such a disingenuous explanation of what he's doing. But he describes not only something like Asmongold, but also decoy voice who's catching strays here.
Asmongold's eyebrows do more commentary than him. Asmongold
It's not
begins
nice.
by watching a right-wing guy named Decoy Voice.
Right-wing decoy voice.
I
Interesting.
think that the era of calling somebody right-wing as like a pejorative is ending, and it's kind of going away. And I think that people are starting to see like how ridiculous it is that that's even an accusation in the first place. It's just like the fact that you're using that as a negative to begin with.
Attempting to connect
Not
to
just hard
Sentinel
on
Network.
somebody other than Asmongold, but his opinions are straight up trash. The objectively pressed comments have the U.S. using up their explosives on countries that they interfered with in the past. It's like bombing your friend's toilet after going to their house and leaving without telling them. Regardless, Asmongold used to watch this guy a lot and makes goofy faces.
No, I don't think so. And so when it comes to a vote, I'm going to vote against that. Nope. Disagree. No generational guilt here. Not going to happen.
What are these criticisms? His eyebrows move too much. He makes funny faces. Like, damn. What does that have to do with anything?
Anything.
That's not legitimate criticism. So in this video, they're doing it just tricks on USAID. I cannot believe anyone defends USAID this hard. So as Asmongold claims, and I agree with in many regards, the reason people don't feel bad about USAID falling apart is because the overwhelming majority of their foreign campaigns were an absolute waste of money. You know, DEI musicals over in another country, or paying for transgender comic books in South America. Like, these things are ridiculous. And food shops here tries to use an appeal to emotion, saying, well, one of those programs that's going to get slashed is cleaning up bombs in Cambodia. And Asmongold's reaction is pretty much like,
By the way, the U.S. did not put all those bombs there. All the mines there. That was not all put there by the U.S. The entire premise of this argument is not true.
Pay for the sins of other generations. I wasn't even born
Some
in
of
20
them, yes,
years
but not all.
of the Vietnam War. Why am I responsible for anything going on here? Like, why would I pay my taxpayer dollars?
Yeah,
Now,
it's just like that's it. I mean, like, I think that this is one of the things that it's one of the big points that I think a lot of people are kind of realizing, especially like young men are realizing, is that I think that there's a lot of young men who feel a lot of cultural stress and a lot of financial pressure. and they are very against the idea of this generational guilt that because their grandfather or their grandfather's grandfather did something bad, that they now have to live in accordance to that. I think that's the way a lot of people feel. And that's the way I feel, right? Like, I don't care about anything bad that the country did in the past. I'm not going to do anything to, like, help them if it's not for my country, right? Like, if I didn't do that, it's not my responsibility. If you want to talk about, like, you know, like, fucking geopolitics, we bombed them. Obviously, necessarily, it's not going so well to begin with, right? I care about that. You find a lot of this in Germany? Yeah, you do, right? But government did it. It's their responsibility. Well, it's not. And if I vote, the thing is that you can make that argument as much as you want, but that's not going to make me vote to send my money somewhere else to do something to solve a problem that's not beneficial to people in my country. You can use whatever argument you want. None of that is going to cause me to give my money away. That's it. Like, there's literally nothing. There's nothing more to it than that. And in a lot of ways, it is selfish. And I think that's a good thing.
I'm sure therapists on Twitter will probably diagnose with
That way I'm thinking causes wars. I don't know. If we're going to go...
Dude, what is happening?
...money to, like, fix their problems across the world, and they're going to come... So, like, when we're paying them basically a ransom, that, like, we have to keep giving them money or they're going to go to war with us. It's not like a good idea at all.
I don't have an opinion, but that's the opinion I think most people in the world have. They don't want to pay for foreign things going on that happened generations before them. I think that's a very human thing to do. But, like I said, they pretty much just complain, the rest of the video here, and then we get to good stuff.
Oh, here we go.
The biggest problem, as the old man, your fault.
It's always the viewers. That's it. It's always the viewers' fault. That's what it is. I don't know. I think it's fine to spend a little against the masculine relationships, but anything else is bullshit. I think to some degree it is, but if it's a big problem, then I'm really thinking that seriously. Yeah, all right. This is you guys. Yep, sorry. Here we go.
So this thumbnail is why white people recognize Japanese people, I guess. That's rich.
Yeah, I don't think that's an American. What flag is that? It's not American.
Well, let's see what they have to say. Okay, let's get right into it.
My article that executives got a lot of attention on education. You know what I did it to us? Like one right now.
I'm telling the truth. Shut up, bitch.
Have to use an anime thing. You can't even show your real face.
Spicy intro. Clearly, they're very upset about it. I guess that makes sense. They thought they had a run with these.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot. What are my fans doing that's bad?
YouTube offers the value of engagement above all else. Basically, this values how long the public stay on YouTube.com. The content is that people can comment and like the video. Certainly helps with good engagement. But what if I do that? Basically, all the counts of good engagement.
I mean, like, sort of. Right? Like, I know I know
to really get our attention. Engaging with my videos only makes my videos show up more on your feed.
What is this like?
Dude, this bitch sucks.
There are a lot of people, if you don't want to look at content,
Because she's fucking a hating ass cunt.
I think that's the main answer. Like, yeah, that part of that is true.
Anime villain monologue here, like freaking relaxed, completely mind broken over a couple of videos, getting some dislikes on them. Jeez, relax.
You guys are really not taking the real part allegations. The best way to reduce the attention my videos get and to completely hinder me is to hover your cursor over my video and not click on it. By doing this, you're lowering my click-through rate. Impressions are the times a viewer sees my video on the side or in the search results.
It
However,
does sound like an anime villain narrative, doesn't it? Like one of those like monologues.
Sounds like she's jealous as fuck.
Yeah.
That's dramatic. This is the story of the best part of the sandwich and this crust.
Like, oh, you said something bad about my video because I said something bad about yours, and now people don't want to watch me. It's like, well, quit having a stupid fucking opinion, and that won't be an issue. But you have an opinion no one fucking agrees with. What is happening?
Work with talented freelancers and their AI models on Fiverr.
Like, I think it's funny that people get upset when their videos don't get any engagement. It's like, dude, you want to be cool and ahead of the trend when your opinion on stuff is so far out of reality. People don't want to listen to it. And they totally disagree with what you're saying, and then you get upset that they're disagreeing with what they're saying, with what you're saying.
People try to figure out ways to not find common ground better. And it's almost like if you find common ground with a person that you normally disagree with, people view it as you kind of agreeing with their other previous opinions. Like, and I think this is like a meta level problem of thinking that happens a lot in general.
That contrarian point of view.
it tells YouTube.
What does contrarian mean again?
And it's
What's up?
but for promoting content you don't like. But
Also, like I said, I think they're being like a little dramatic, but it doesn't work because, like I said, they were serious in the other video. And now it's like they're trying to play it off like, oh, I was just sleeping around this whole time. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think you just got kind of barraged with dislikes and negative comments, and now you're trying to cope about it.
Of course.
fortunately, clicking on my video,
You
watching
reject
all the way
opposing
through,
popular
and
opinion.
I'm
Especially in stock exchange deals.
So everybody dies. You had 900 views. This person broke it down very well.
Yeah, Losman.
Actually, it's like showing this as some kind of L for people who are putting out a pretty good effort to criticize what you're saying. I don't know if this looks
I think you guys have gotten me out of my shadow. So,
Oh my god, this bitch sucks so bad. I hate her voice. It's not even about what she's saying. It's how she's saying it. The bitch is annoying.
Instead, you guys are always other people who
This
know
is-
what I talk about. Then
This is exactly what I would imagine these people like. Like, this is whenever I think about the people who are like writing these like weird things on Twitter, this is exactly how I imagine them typing and talking. This is 100%.
and depicted as a soy jack. You lose, chatters. But anyways, this is on now. We talked about the Austin here, and I want to listen to this part because it's a whole lot of fun.
keep watching. I appreciate you guys. Let's. So Japanese historians and Japanese professors did on the matter of Yakuza was depicted as the Black Samurai in the new Assassin's Creed 6. And he's one of the main characters. The gamers go on in full force, okay? Now, people are saying people are maybe using the main excuse they're using is that it's historically inaccurate,
It is.
okay? That's not true. This is a topic of debate there's a lot of Japanese people on Twitter, all right, and for the record, a lot of people are racist about everything. A lot. Okay, well, there's a lot of people in Japan that don't agree with this, but they're racist, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Hey, first, Japanese history came out, all right? Good Japanese was not paid by
This guy, by the way, I believe this is the guy who evidence for history. Like, you don't have to actually prove anything through evidence when it comes to history. It's about basically telling a story. Yeah, there's a reason why this guy got absolutely trashed.
Well, hey, I guess that makes sense. He's telling a story.
And the other person they're referring to is, of course, Thomas Lockwood.
Yeah,
who we already talked about. 400-page fan fiction on this stuff that's been debunked. He also vandalized the Wikipedia page of Yasuke, changing the phrases from retainers to samurai and using his own book as the source for that. How is that ever taken seriously?
anybody. Like with a professor who teaches, all right?
That's what they generally do.
Literally says, during that time, historical records are not accurate. And they don't hurt anyone of the samurai. Why? Because they haven't invented the word samurai yet. They haven't invented.
I don't know what you're talking about, but the other point that they made a couple seconds ago was that people are trying to basically, they really wrong that too, where they're saying,
She's getting mad.
We're speaking on behalf of all Japanese people. We're treating them as a model.
Yeah.
It's totally
not true.
We're treating the Japanese people as a monolith, but she's saying that a lot of them are just racist.
For sure. People like, we're looking at what the majority seems to think, and it seems very clear from a lot of evidence that a lot of Japanese people don't like the portrayal of not just Yasuke, but Japan and Japanese history generally when it comes to Japanese and shadows. They have a million reasons to be upset. All the controversies, all the historical inaccuracies, there's plenty to be upset at. And if you want some evidence of that, just look at one of the trailers from Ubisoft Japan. The Japanese it's looking like a
Holy shit!
925,000.
Not so good, huh?
It's not just,
Yeah, really not so good.
there's so much empathy. 900 people like this trailer. I mean, that's absolutely insane. So,
Wow.
people like me, we see this and say,
I mean, when you played it, was the game just garbage?
Look at this.
Yeah, that game is
Maybe
trash.
people in Japan have an opinion about it. Yeah, I wonder why.
It's a bad game.
Even if you took out the
It's just a bad game. It's just a bad game.
like, the reception in Japan.
The Samurai War was invented in 702
hard to
AD.
beat Valhalla.
Are you really expecting a random
Valhalla shits on that game.
content
Valhalla,
creator
it's just
that
on
makes a bunch of
pretty much
negative
all
videos
of
about like two people that they disagree
I'd
with?
say
Are
probably
you really
some
expecting
of my
to have
favorites
any
are
thought into what they're
two,
saying at all? Like you have to understand
Odyssey,
that like this is the
and Valhalla.
manifestation
Odyssey was
of,
really
like,
good,
this
though.
on Twitter that
And that was actually one of my least favorite ones for a long time until I replayed it. And it's actually become
It's
my
not
top
about
favorite.
information.
So it
They
goes
were
Assassin's
just
Creed
like,
2,
haha, I got you, I don't
Assassin's
like you
Creed,
anyway, so that's what you get.
Valhalla,
Like they're just rats, bro. Like that's it. They're just rats.
And I think that's a fair conclusion to make right here on this subject. Now, returning to this, just going over some other
I think
things.
you helped me like
It's honestly a waste of time.
Odyssey a
Let's
lot
go to the conclusion.
more than I
Okay.
did
What
like
do you have
it.
to say here?
Yeah, I've taken a look at my watch a lot.
And it's the first Assassin's Creed
Oh,
that I played.
dude, I hate when I run off the side like that.
That was pretty. Yeah. Look at that. That was a lot like him, and a lot like it.
It's the first one I played where you could choose to be a guy or a girl. I prefer playing with a girl or a guy.
Wow.
So the Axios, I like it.
Wow, again? Wow. What? What?
My side comes out soon. My niece.
God, what is
so
annoying
apparently,
person?
what is it?
It looks like a pet.
Like that's the reason why people aren't watching. Make better videos. Yeah, if they're not just
Did it come out today?
I know it comes out. Technically this week. Physical cartridges which allow you to download games. Turning them into GameStop.
the people that are like the coordinators of it. This is exactly the way that I would imagine them to be. Yeah, this is the video. Yeah, it's like this is like when I see this, it's like going to a protein convention and seeing the guy here with like the rainbow sparkle shirt, the fedora, the fire, over shirt on, and the fire at the bottom.
Yeah, that'll change stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Like they still game for $80 if you want that physical one with that
put together.
for specific.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Like, you think it's crazy that if it Zelda Tears of the
I
Kingdom
watched
and
a
Breath of the
YouTube
Wild,
video on it.
it's gonna
Yeah,
cost
I
you
did. And if there's one nearby, I would watch
$1
it. It's just so fucking funny for me to see this. But some of these people are completely fucking delusional. It's really sad.
I really have to attack. Like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom was one.
We find we can go further with less.
Nope, gotta buy both.
Full of protein, less ingredients, less sugar.
And they didn't do that much to it to make it look better.
Yeah, the fact that reactive Asmon being reacted to. Why do people actually hate Asmongold? Uh-oh. That's a really good video. Okay. All right.
I find it quite strange how a lot of it's absolute.
Mystery solved.
See how people seems almost endangered currently online. A lot of people just follow trends of hatred without actually taking the time to find evidence about their reputation. Just because a lot of people are saying something doesn't mean it's true. We've seen this happen with a lot of public figures, especially in recent years. A good example would be J.K. Rowling. I'm convinced the majority of people who hate her do so simply because others do, because it's become a popular trend. I remember watching a video on critical thinking by a teacher. In this video, Warren challenged students encouraging students to broaden his perspective and look into the situation himself, using rationality and critical thinking.
So get specific though, let's define bigoted decisions, what it needs to be. We're going to treat this as a thought experiment, like to say what's right or wrong or what way to think. All we need to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yeah.
So when you say bigot, you're starting with the conclusion that given her bigoted opinions,
Yeah.
we're going to start with
This is the way most people start at the conclusion and they work backwards. That's the way that most people think, unfortunately.
She has.
So I guess now that
2 minutes later. Yeah, is that fair?
How do you feel about
Yep. They start with the conclusion.
after looking at that statement? Do you think that was the best way to phrase it?
No, I feel like Warren Smith then apparently.
Oh no, that makes that kid smarter than 90% of people on the internet. 90% of people on the internet would have never said that. But at the end of that, they would have said, "L, bro, you really a transphobe though. Like, oh, bro, this guy sucks." Yeah, no, actually, kids. Because not everyone's gonna know everything.
For encouraging having engineers fired from my teaching position. This decline in critical thinking is one of the many reasons I believe
as we go. And so,
Like, don't like critical thinking because critical thinking breaks down narratives. And a lot of people that are in charge of internet communities have more of a allegiance to the narrative than they do to the community or to the truth. And so anybody, like, you think about it like this, right? If you apply critical thinking, you come to conclusions that are inconvenient. Like, for example, I think that trans sports are like one example of that. Or you could look at it with climate change, I would say. Or you could look at it with other types of like human rights. And if you apply critical thinking to these topics and you evaluate them logically, you come to conclusions that are oftentimes oppositional to what side, quote, that you're on. And people don't want to be on the wrong side because one thing we've learned about the internet is that if you're wrong by 1%, you might as well just be the opposite.
bases, especially among specific communities, there's a lot
You
of
think
hate.
critical thinking has declined? I think that critical thinking has not only has critical thinking declined, I think people have trained themselves for critical thinking to decline. Because people that make mistakes and they critically think for themselves instead of just repeating what they've already heard and what they're supposed to say, those people get ostracized and they get kicked out of their community. So I think it's even farther than that. I think that people actively try to avoid critical thinking. They're afraid of critical thinking because that could put them in an opposition to people that they're on the same side with.
Towards him that is unwarranted.
A lot of people are mad.
Or more other people is the way that this echo chamber became.
Methodology is like someone who makes a living on stealing other people. You're living.
Ethical is just like actually one of the purest examples of the moderate thing of fascism thing. Also, ethical editors is Nazi. My editor is Nazi. I guess we're not seeing his point of view.
That's too bad. Wow. They're over here.
This is the fake laugh he does, and I don't respect him at all. I mean, maybe his audience is like 12-year-old boys. Maybe they really buy this and think it's funny.
It's racist.
Why people hate ethical. Okay, to be fair, I talked about a little bit privately. It seems like we're not able to work things out. So no hate to
In my research for this video, I genuinely tried to find actual substantial reasons for the hate outside of the lies. I'm an advocate of trying to see both sides' perspectives on any topic.
people.
I found quite a few videos on YouTube that I'd like to unpack and try to understand why there is so much hate against Asmongold. First off, from what I've seen, a lot of the hate against Asmongold seems to have stemmed from other YouTubers' disdain for React content.
In my run, I found to be really funny about people getting mad about React content is that this has totally done a U-turn. Is that now people are not mad that I'm reacting. They're mad that I aren't reacting. Sorry, that I'm not reacting. Like, there'll be a video that comes out and they'll be mad at me because I haven't done it. And they saw that, and this happened with like the Elon Musk thing with Gwen's video. It happened with, I remember there was some Bernie Sanders video people wanted me to watch, and then it also happened with the Hassan content dude from Ethan. And so now the entire narrative has shifted from no longer am I this parasite, but I'm now I'm the victim. I'm the person that they want me to react to this video because that legitimizes it. So I think we've totally turned this around.
Such as stumbled across a video titled
React
Asmongold
More.
and
Yeah.
Why I Don't Like Asmongold Videos by a channel called Savior330.
So in this video that he's reacting to my video. He's gonna talk about how reactions are bad. Okay.
Video we hear the usual rant about React content having a negative impact on other channels like YouTube has its
Jordan, and I was like, bro,
Gets the benefit.
you hit me up
All of
before
this
I
people think he gets the benefit.
I I hit you up at like 7.
Other content creators
Hey, you have no money, I was like, bro.
do any of the heavy
Next time-
lifting. This YouTuber then played
Dude,
an
just
excerpt
tell
from
them straight up. Just don't do it again. You don't need to go and play all these games and send them a fucking paragraph. Just tell them, if you fucking hit me up, make sure you are able to meet. If not, fuck off. That's all you gotta say. Nothing more.
Crazy how long this guy's been at.
For the last few months, I've noticed that very few people seem to understand why React content is harmful. React content is.
Yeah, I watched this guy for GTA videos. He actually has a huge following, this guy. Yeah, I don't like his voice, but
What I believe is the most important aspect of React content.
Oh, I know this guy. I know
not this guy.
I don't know if you were watching.
Not this guy.
Oh, this was the one that I was like, I can't say his voice.
No.
The idea that reaction when watching someone like Asmund Clark, it's not about the original video content itself, but rather about his personal taste. People watch him because they want to hear his thoughts, see his reactions, and experience his unique perspective. His popularity is built on his personality and how he engages with the content, not just the content itself. Even if he simply talks about the audience will still tune in because they're following him and his reactions, not just the video being reacted to. Reaction content requires personal insight and the ability to entertain, which is what Google is. This is nearly a perfect
Well,
content.
that's why a lot of people watch the videos, right? I mean, there are people that, like, there are people who react, and, like, I remember, really fucking pissed me off about this skinny. Oh my fucking god.
I have to be
So, she was gonna watch my video about the steak, and she was watching it with mommy. And the entire video, they're not even reacting or talking about the video that I'm doing at all. They just have the video on while they're talking about some other random fucking bullshit. I was losing my mind getting mad about this. I was, bad. Yeah, they didn't even react the right way.
in the context of Asmund. But the only thing that is disputable is that not all React content is actually done in good faith. Some of it is linked. Reactman has a fantastic video titled The Dark Side of React Content that I completely written. In fact, in his video, he even mentions how Asmongold reacted to one of his videos, yes, affected his viewership negatively, but how he spoke to Asmongold and Asmund agreed to one of his videos a few days after release in the future.
I realized is that if you're a big creator who's going to react to someone's video, you have to wait at least 4 days for it to be pushed in the algorithm naturally. And that's what Asmund and I talked about and agreed on. Yeah, he and I were totally good.
Like, I like the Act Man a lot. We've talked about that, a number of other things too. DMZ, no problems.
This happened.
The Act-Man then talks about the positive impact reactors like Asmongold that had on his channel.
But Act-Man, he's belong to you. Maybe they do. I can't say for certain, but what I can say is a lot of people who are subscribed to my channel wouldn't be subscribed if Asmongold never made these videos.
Although I agree with Asmongold,
I think that's the truth. Is with React content, there are positives and negatives. Each case is going to be a little bit different. I personally think that if you make the argument with React content, I actually, and this is going to be maybe controversial, I don't think that you can't make that argument towards video games. Because I think that watching somebody play a video game, and because the argument with React content is fundamentally that React content exists inside of the ecosystem and then therefore cannibalizes views away from the original content. And it effectively acts as a market replacement. I think that a lot of people watch video game playthroughs instead of buying a video game themselves. And I think if somebody does that, you also have an instance where a person who is performing much less labor and much less work is getting a disproportionate benefit from somebody else's labor and work that in some cases causes a market replacement for purchasing said work. So I think that if you look at it from that perspective, reacting to a video is not that much different than reacting to playing a video game. Help sales? Yeah, but you can say it helps sales, But at the same time, not always, right? Not always. And that's the point. I think it's kind of different. I don't think it's different personally.
Of Dog Viper AU's video, there's something he says here at the 5 seconds.
I hope by the end of this video that you
Oh,
come to understand
fuck.
why the exposure and money would either entirely or almost entirely have gone to other content creators if not for Asmongold's interference. Not just the people that Asmongold steals labor from, but everyone in the wider market.
You could easily say the same thing about every single channel on YouTube, including Dog Viper AU. Dog Viper has 1.5 million views and this channel.
Bottom line, a react video has the same value proposition as going to a movie with a friend. Seeing and discussing a movie with a friend can be more enjoyable than seeing it alone. But you would never say that the friend who took you to the movie should get a cut of the movie's proceeds for sitting in the chair and giving you his opinion on it.
This for me is a close overview of what this video
To be a better example. And also, like, a lot of movie critics and people like that, they do have all back and they do have ads on the places they review the movie. So, like, in the case of, if you want to have, like, a more specific example, I think that's not really the case.
I would say that react content is more likely to be content. People
Why do I keep doing that?
choose to watch Asmongold
Yeah.
and other react creators simply because they are entertaining. Dog Viper AU's video, while incredibly well made, also lacks a very basic understanding. People prefer to watch react content over original videos. Behind
Some people don't. Like, for a lot of people, like, that was actually one of the reasons, too, why there's a lot of videos that I don't really react to them right away, because I don't want to accidentally cannibalize views, because I know how the YouTube algorithm works very well. And that was one of the other, like, kind of secondary or tertiary reasons why I didn't react to Ethan's video right away.
every single view
It
is
depends
a
on,
real
yeah, but it
person.
does depend on the video. It really depends on the video. And also, like, if I have a relationship with that person, like I was talking about, like, back.
Living their real life by choosing how they spend their time. The argument that Asmongold interferes with other people's ability to make money is a massive over-exaggeration. This video helps people who watch Asmongold as the collective hive mind that doesn't really think for itself. I would consider myself an Asmongold enjoyer, and I have absolutely nothing to do with anyone else who watches Asmongold's videos. I just choose what I want to do with my time as a casual guy going about my life.
What you do not see is every time any reaction video appears where your video was otherwise appeared. Any time when one of your videos is on your channel, except that that was a reaction video.
You recommend that they're based off of people. So if I was watching this and then you were watching it as well.
You also do not see every time a reaction video is chosen by a viewer instead of one of your videos.
Now, I'm not saying Dog Viper is wrong entirely. There are people who just watch some of these videos without first having seen them. But that's really no way of knowing this, especially systemic. If it were as simple as Dog Viper AU puts it, then I don't think react channels are the real issue anyway.
I think it's the net policy, right? I mean, Mr. Beast, let's see how reactive I mean, I think Mr. Beast knows a lot about this.
Just choose how they want to spend their time, and that's ultimately what drives YouTube. Dog Viper tried to dispute the argument in his video by explaining that just because there is a market for it doesn't mean it's a good thing. In my opinion, this argument is possibly the most important on the subject, but Dog actually didn't give a strong enough point to argue.
The market design? No, there was a market for every terrible thing you can imagine. The existence of demand for something does not justify needing that demand towards the needs.
The primary message behind Dog Viper's video is that react content is objectively bad or objectively immoral, without giving any hint of its nuances. I believe it's important to conclude that react content as a concept has subjectively and objectively good or bad sides depending on the content. At the end of the day, we, the consumers, are in charge. We dictate who profits by where we spend our money or our time. Yet, it's never good as consumers to support something that is explicitly illegal or immoral, but this is why I am challenging this idea that React content is just outright bad. I think what Dark Viper AU is saying is ultimately space, and it is a lot of video. I recommend watching this video as it does have a lot of influence depending on the context. Yes, there are a lot of bad actors out there that actually do just steal content without even credit. This does exist, and I am all for breaking the rules the way possible. But I disagree with the argument that all
Hear
of
about the
the
YouTuber that shut up that Rollins video?
I suspect.
No.
I think
I
these
just
are
guess they
definitely
just started.
like with us, like what we try to do on like my channel, is that obviously we go on Reacts, we do gameplay, I do my own videos
Apparently
sometimes.
they have to
You know, there's a spectrum.
secure 1.4 million square feet of
If people are
property.
unhappy with it or they don't want us to react to their videos, I don't react to the videos. Like I have pretty much no questions asked policy with that. And the only exceptions that I make are when the videos are a topic that is me, right? If I am the topic of the video, I will react to it even if you might not want me to. But like that's about it. Spectrum, yes.
The privilege of having Aspen Gold react to the very first video I made, the current state of the game, about 4 or 5 months ago. Because of this, and Aspen Gold following up by watching 4 more of my videos, my channel exploded. I even tweeted about this. Soluna is a free and confidential mental health app where you can chat one-on-one with a mental health professional and explore tools to help you find calm at zero cost. Stress less and shine more.
Make your dog a Quattro dog. Fidelio Quattro offers the broadest service inspection of its kind. Try Fiverr Go, an AI model trained by freelancers to deliver something unique in their own style. Or keep trying.
There it is. Yeah.
Subscribers aren't really the driving force to achieve success anymore. The algorithm now prioritizes videos with strong watch time relative to their length.
Yeah.
Every time Aspen Gold has watched one of my videos, thousands of people have popped in to leave a like, comment, or even subscribe. Which is
that. Wow.
It's a
What
good thing, right?
surprise. The obvious thing that any reason.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Know what happened.
awesome, don't get me wrong, but then naturally they get more about this. It only takes a few seconds for them to do, but in the background,
Oh, wow.
it's tracking how long people are actually watching the video and they the channel. With thousands of viewers who stick around for under 10 seconds, YouTube's algorithm starts flagging the video as not worth it.
You know what you should do once you beat the Doom the Dark Ages? Because in the prequel, you just start Doom 1 and then play Doom Eternal.
Nah.
Money,
So
money,
yes,
money.
this is a negative, but in the long run, React content can still be incredibly beneficial. While the
Like,
initial
don't get me
version
wrong,
tracks
I've enjoyed this game, but I'm not a huge fan of like the game. I'm not trying to like play it like Resident Evil or something.
Channels that I've watched, they've received a pretty good boost. I like their videos or whatever. Yeah, I think it's
percentage of views.
Oh wow!
yeah.
I keep doing that shit. Oh, I should have. Oh, how did I bounce off of that?
These are the people who growth. Beyond that, exposure from React content.
Wow,
will
these
also
two
boost
kids were in
credibility.
the store
Well-known
and they're trying to get back the place. They're like, no, we're not leaving until we pay for our stuff.
Yeah.
There's an active shooter in the mall.
In my case, having Aspen Gold react to my videos helped give me credibility as a voice in the gaming space.
I'm gonna be honest, like this guy, he's really cooking with this video. I actually think this is probably one of the best dissections of like the philosophy behind why these things happen in games that like I've seen. This is really good.
This kind of recognition
And
can
that's also one of the reasons why all React content isn't created equal. And I think also that's why a lot of people watch my videos, because I talk about it in a way that's positive. And I also try to actively look for videos that I think will be beneficial. Like, I generally don't hate launch a lot of videos. Now, obviously, I do sometimes, but, regularly, no.
Damn. There were guys on the ground.
Yeah,
in the
well,
cop.
last
And
week
there was
reacting to their
he was
videos.
had his
Sometimes
hands
I-
out, and it was like finger length away from
Yeah, sure. Like if
from the
somebody
gun.
gives me a video,
Cops
they say,
shot
"Hey,
him in the
watch
arm so he
this,
couldn't
like,
go
this
for
is
the
a
gun.
really good video I made. I think you might like it. Your community might like it. Yeah,
Like he didn't even go for it. He just had his hands out.
There's
Cops shot him, so yeah. He's an arm to go for the gun.
How I ever reacted to a YouTube video from
He's already killed like 4 people
So
though.
the answer to that is a technical yes, because I've been paid in a sponsorship to react to a trailer of a game, and that was part of the sponsorship. But you're asking, has another YouTuber paid me money to watch their video? The answer to that question would be no.
And has opened doors to
So
collaborations,
technically, yes, but
sponsors,
functionally,
and
no.
other opportunities that wouldn't have otherwise been possible. I also think that a potential fix would be a system where YouTube splits revenue from React channels, creating a more collaborative platform. But this is just wishful thinking. Just a quick side note on this. I've recently been seeing people say that Asmongold's React videos are just him nodding or agreeing or raising his eyebrows the whole time.
Asmongold gets involved. That's right. The guy that will play a YouTube video in its entirety casually raises his eyebrows and says the word sure a lot, like the person.
True.
The video is in the room with him.
Anyone who actually takes a few minutes to look into this will see that this is just not true. Just look at my video side by side, the reactions he made on them. He clearly adds a lot to these conversations. Now, beyond the React content of going back to Savior 3.0's video, he then tries to go deeper into the premise that Asmongold is the most nihilistic person he has ever seen.
Well, that's partially.
Hold much more values. He seems to basically flip-flop between
he has ever seen.
He doesn't hold much more values. He seems to basically flip-flop between any type of argument which basically benefits him to his audience. He doesn't have.
Well, that is a moral value. Is this good for me or not good for me? It's good for me? Okay, then I like it. It's bad for me? Okay, I don't like it.
Have any moral consistency. It seems like from a lot of his rights, stuff that he talks about. It seems as the gold
The crew just surrendered.
baseless
He's
and
not responding.
doesn't hold religion, morality, much regard. Might sometimes communicate the usefulness and the individual and society and benefiting society and all that stuff. But it seems because he is literally living in a tiny little echo chamber of basically a Redditor, addicted gamer who somehow got famous.
There's almost no.
Yeah, because he didn't put in any of the work, right?
Okay. A tiny everything I did. I think it's a pretty big actually. And a Redditor, okay.
Problem with that is he doesn't have any educational insight. He doesn't do any self-development of himself. Educational ideas to match.
I'm reaching educational ideas. That's interesting. Also, what I do that. Well, I'm saying here. And I think it was. It was a great mistake. I remember making that mistake. Such a good mistake. One of the best mistakes I've made. Probably in my top one.
Destructive and it reinforces, nihilistic tendencies to his audience, and a lot of people are rather bad. I would say, he doesn't talk about integrity and morality, and he reinforces these ideas to them.
It's ironic that you say that because if you actually watch my videos, you'd actually know I'm it does. A lot of other people don't. That's what separates me, makes me different. And I'm the most humble guy.
Education himself.
Now, to come back to what you say, yes, Asmongold has definitely shared some nihilism. I wouldn't say he has fully embraced nihilism in its traditional sense. For those who aren't aware, nihilism is defined as the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. Yes, Asmongold has shaped how he believes life is meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
I place like pretty much no value in like principles of morality. I think that these are top-down ideas that are given to you by the elites. And I think that if you look at most people that are in like an advantageous position, those people don't follow any of those morals or ideas at all.
But at the same time, people think about it.
My dad told me that the first comment about the laser window, my dad on the wall. And I was like, would you do that? I'm like, yeah, that's it. He said, that's what you have to do. I won. I did. Immediately, I was too close.
Absurd. Argue that if life has no point in eating, we can still create our own.
Because it's not like an aimless life. I do what I want to do. I do have some goals. Yeah, I have things that I want to do, right?
But he by no means has ever encouraged or preached and expected you at the same time.
No, you're super nihilistic in that way because like I'm actually one of the I do stuff all the time. Like I'm always being active. Like yesterday, as I said, I didn't do fucking anything, right? But it was like that was a super rare day. For the most part, I always am being active. I'm always doing things. I'm always working at something. I'm always being, involved with something. Everything. For my whole life.
You just took out a seat.
In fact, there's a lot of evidence on YouTube alone pointing to the contrary.
Nobody should watch my screen and say, I want to be like this animal. Listen, I don't think anybody with a successful life should want to be like this. And I really mean that. I genuinely mean that. You don't want to live the way that I live. The way that I live is not sort of enlightened in Buddhist nirvana. It is absolute pure degeneracy.
Now, there's a natural tendency that we have as humans.
I've said this many times. Nobody wants to be what I am. That's it. It's not. Yeah, it doesn't mean you're mad. It's the same type of stuff. So I think that it's very so this is a concept that is explored by a number of people. The presence of nihilism does not precipitate the absence of a degree of optimism. I think that the idea that there's no divine ordering of the world can be replaced with the opportunity of ordering it in a way that you see fit. And I think the enthusiasm for that can replace what people can consider religion or something like that. And this has been very common to talk about, don't stop life.
We should always be on guard against the beliefs or worldviews that are either completely unrelated to us or contrary to what we ourselves are. Not everyone is like this, but a lot of us are like this. Nihilism is easy to correlate with historical or fictional events that have a negative impact on their society. Some of us might have even experienced personal grief from people with similar views, but this in no way gives ground for automatic hate, nor does it give justification for spreading lies. Now, I do want to ask, please do not go on to save your channel to procrastinate. He's genuinely trying to convey the message he believes in, and I would say good for him for doing that. Yeah, we should disagree if you want. As Aristotle once said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to think thoughts without thinking.
See, this right here, this is that you can't do that anymore. You can't do this. See, this, we're way past this. It's crazy how, we already had the foundation for this shit 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, right? But for some reason, we gotta go back to that censorship shit all the time. All the fucking time.
You're right. This brings me to my next point of why some people dislike Asmongold. There's a strange tendency, especially among those chronically online, to equate disagreeing with someone to hating them. Asmongold says
taking heavy casualties.
Classified goons.
That's
I don't know what that is.
So what they do is they go into places and just troll people and get their reactions. Like they'll go into a mall or something like that and start harassing people.
Artists don't matter because what matters is the opinion of
Like he was wearing the security shirt, the same security shirt that a mall cop will wear, and you know why he's going around with that. Fuck with him.
It's too bad. People that are buying the stuff.
Like they'll go in and just like target employees, and they'll start like going around people and like making fun of them or doing whatever they do.
People seem unable to consider it in a healthy, constructive way. As the goal doesn't shy away from consideration takes, and some people don't like this. I've gone around many Twitch
Johnny?
Is that AI art an absolute shining armor? Filthy AI architecture. This is so funny to see people crying about this. Also, the size things procedural generation and AI art has no inherent difference. Seriously, negatively, like you, holy shit. I'm gonna give you guys a clip that a lot of companies now are already using AI art. You're just not telling you. So you've probably been enjoying AI art without enjoying it for the last
Enemy troops have been obliterated.
Just a little, just in case you might
Ruth, baby Ruth.
like this. I've gone around many Twitch and YouTube channels throughout the last year, and I find it fascinating how most channels are easily seen as mini echo chambers. I don't think many help dispute these
echo chambers.
Every channel is going to be an echo chamber because people are going to congregate with other people's faith, right? That's normal. Like you go to a church and be like, well, why the fuck does everybody here just believe in Jesus? This seems like a huge Jesus echo chamber. What the fuck is this? Yeah, of course. You go to a card shop. Oh, everybody here likes cards. I can't believe it. What an echo chamber. Yeah, no shit.
claims, but I can also see how those who don't actually watch Asmongold can point fingers at his channel and say the same thing. But I've actually never seen a content creator who sides against his entire audience laugh as much as Asmongold.
I really see that a lot. I get mad.
He really doesn't have this. A man that even riled me up at times with some of his takes.
Like the fact that Halo Infinite didn't launch with an official battle royale is untrue.
But I believe this is actually
Thank God. That's what we need.
Hey, free studios. If first you don't succeed, well, you keep failing for 10 years, but they're going to get it right next time because they renamed the studio.
Explain why later.
Yeah,
I came across this video titled "The Most Disgusting Man of All Time," Asmongold, by a YouTuber named The Angry Asian. I watched it and think he presents a solid argument with some real weight to it. Unfortunately, despite the video being 13 minutes and 38 seconds long, he only spent about 1 minute actually accusing Asmongold of anything substantial.
He just
It's longer than I would expect. That's pretty good. How about that?
simply has the most racist and misogynistic takes on gaming and just in general.
Am I the most racist and misogynistic person? Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
Never seen in my entire life.
Is that whenever I see like a game that comes out and it has, you know, this is fuel in the can. This is me being racist, agreeing with the guy who's black that Assassin's Creed Shadows is problematic, but I'm the one that's racist. Because, so if I was racist,
Dude, why does it keep pushing me off?
There's no logic. It's just feeling and thinking. Like there's no thinking involved in this at all. and like the main character is a black guy and a girl. I immediately like there's like no escape this could provide. Yeah, because the entire story is built on the foundation of trying to appeal to a quote monster.
And even in this clip,
I'm right, by the way. I'm absolutely fucking right. Do you think if this game was made in Japan, it would have those main characters? Absolutely fucking not. It's made by a bunch of woke, a bunch of woke Western white people that think that, oh, this is what people want to see. They have disrespected every element. Like, it's actually impressive how bad of a job they've done at disrespecting every single element of Japanese culture. But we're going to somehow act like this is
That's
something
not what
that
it's
they do
about, dude.
completely independently. No.
They do it better than the fucking US does.
Everybody can see it. It's obvious.
Asmongold makes a valid
We all
point.
know.
If a game is set in historical feudal Japan, it shouldn't call itself historical while altering history, just so the developers could push a political agenda.
Right.
This guy literally spent the rest of the whole video ranting about Asmongold's living choices and hygiene.
How do people view Asmongold as a respected streamer and they value his opinions
Bro, it's none
on
of your
it?
fucking
He's
business
mad.
fucking how he lives or
He's
fucking.
mad that he's mad people are watching. But look at this bed. This is worse than
You're a
mine.
fucking loser.
How the fuck are you going to be talking shit about the way that I live when you got that pigsty behind
You
you?
don't know what he's been through.
This is just as bad as me.
And then, is he lazy when it comes to
What the
anything
hell are we
but
talking
his
about?
grind? Yeah.
That pillow doesn't
Well, who
even have a
cares?
pillowcase
His life.
on it. I have 4 pillowcases on my pillows because I haven't replaced the pillowcases. I just put a new one over the old one. What an idiot.
Gaming or just any topic in general, when this motherfucker dead ass lives
Dead
in
ass.
his landfill that he calls a house, would you give a single shit
at least-
what a
at least
homeless
he's not with
person
him with his
living under a
parents.
bridge on a highway
Yeah, that
has to
was
say to you?
inherited. He
More
inherited it,
likely,
but he
you
keeps the
wouldn't
lights
give
on.
a single
You probably
what
still
he
live with your
has to say.
parents.
So that's true. So I'm a homeless crackhead living in a crack house. I actually leave a crack home. And so that means I'm already playing it on partner. So I'm on that means my message is even stronger. Because like it can override those biases. That's how true it is. So really, I think this goes to show.
But why would you care what Asmongold has to say? Because let's be honest here, guys. Those homeless people living under a bridge 1,000% are fearful.
I'm gonna get this guy's address. Like, I'm go to his house and I want to beat his ass. Just like in his house, Bob.
I think he might be the only person on the internet. Why this is impressive?
How else
It's the same vibe. It's like, you know, like there's like the second fattest kid in the school. Call him the fattest kid in the school. Fat. That's it.
Yet this motherfucker might not just say, this dude is fat kid.
Substantial hate that comes from a place of genuine critical thinking will always result in real evidence of why there is the hate. If we look at history or even fiction, there are many figures that automatically draw hate out, mostly because at least one fundamental cause, at least one decision that these figures have made that has brought this hate upon themselves. And it is always a decision that has affected other beings. Saying that you hate Asmongold because you think he is gross when his decisions actually don't negatively impact anyone but himself shows me that there is a problem with you more than
Yeah,
there
this
is a
woman
problem with
cop
Asmon. I
trying
would
to take
understand
this
wanting
lady
to
down.
show him maybe compassion
Probably
or
like 20 years old.
sympathy, but this has no
The girl tried to
grounds
go
for
for the
hate.
girl,
I would
taser.
completely understand
The minute
hate
that she
if
got
he
her hand
had
on the
maybe
taser,
a
the cop crashed
I
right across the jaw with
I have this Elden Ring plan for a while. And
apparently this girl went into a library because she was having like a traumatic psychotic episode and just started throwing books everywhere. She had a lighter. She was trying to light the books in the library on fire.
On release it.
Because apparently the library was having
I'm
books
just
that
thinking they're done.
slandered her
It's
name.
not so
That's what
good,
she's
right?
claiming.
I mean, like, I don't know why these ones did, you know, it is what it is. But this right here, this is green. You see that? This plane has survived the entirety of Elden Ring, and it survived the DLC. It's probably going to survive into Night Rain. Water it? No, I watered it yesterday. No, I didn't actually. No, water.
I always love when the tasers,
I can
they
tell
don't hit them at first, or they don't go through it first, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you didn't get me," but then they shoot the second cartridge and they drop.
So the only thing, and then also I fed the birds.
Totally
like
right.
yesterday, I think, too. And yeah, the birds are out there doing bird things.
Is it then that so many people throw hate and shame at Asmongold for this? Now let's look at another reason for the hate against Asmongold.
I'm racist.
This one has no substance, and
Yes.
I know because I genuinely try to find evidence of this. But within some communities, we see people constantly trying
I
to
hate black people, I hate women, hate gay people, hate trans people, hate, let's see, who else do I hate? Brown people, I hate, some white people, hate poor people, hate fat people, hate short people, hate,
God, well.
yeah. Thank you for the food. Who else do I hate? Spanish people, hate religious people. Yep, hate religious people. Hate, oh man, hate poor people. Hate rich people. Hate mentally ill people. Hate furries. I think now we're scratching the bottom of the barrel. Hate a lot of people. Even more twice. That means I'm really
out Asmongold as a fascist, racist, sexist, and transphobe. Almost every argument on this is either completely baseless or just plain false. The closest thing to actual evidence that I can find to support this accusation of racism is Asmongold's controversy around his suspension on Twitch in October last year.
Did I say
Most
I was
people already know what happened, but I want to share my views so you
why
can
did the,
understand from my perspective.
The only case where it's even halfway valid was the case where I said I was wrong. For sure.
I can't believe you got pink eye, Paris. When you wake up with pink eye, you get your prescription fast. In like an hour. Walmart Express Delivery. You know what else Walmart could deliver that fast? Hilton is bringing you more new ways to stay than ever before. With all new places, there's all new experiences to enjoy. Hilton for the stay.
At the end of the day, Asmongold's reaction to this gained him more respect from his core audience than it lost. First off, Asmongold messed up. He said something that was blatantly prejudiced against an entire culture. There is a level of truth from the perspective of extremist religions, but Asmongold didn't say this. Instead, he broad brushstroked his point and called out an entire culture. He messed up. But you know who also believes he really messed up here? Asmongold.
So a couple of days ago, I made some, and this is why I've tried to do better since then. Because I feel like when I do something like this, is this me being fair? Am I doing a good job of being a person that is communicating an idea in an effective way? The answer is no. I'm not. So, is this serving my end goal? No. Yeah, I made a mistake. It's that simple.
Palestine, so just general, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. I said something about it that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything.
And I think that that's and I want to say that evidence that this is something that I have carried forward is explained actually earlier in today's stream, even when I was discussing the Amazon clip that I also displayed, because it was on the same premise as this. Just gonna stay. See, that's a weird thing to say.
During the 2-week Twitch suspension Asmongold faced, I couldn't help but find either one of these two extreme views on the situation all over X. On one side, people were defending Asmongold and saying he was stating facts, and on the other side, we had people calling him racist, fascist, and words I don't even want to repeat here. But one thing that can't be disputed here is the fact that Asmongold actually messed up. He made an awful judgment on what he said, and he faced the consequences. Now, this is where I personally garnered enormous respect for him. Asmongold took responsibility for his actions. He didn't fight against it. In fact, he even showed gratitude for being held to account, because he was able to take a back step and see himself becoming someone that he found detestable.
This is what's so crazy about it. I think he's really doing content. Like, so this is again more evidence about how I am the most humble streamer. Everybody knows this stuff. Yeah, all of these are the most mean-spirited, nasty, callous, psychopathic version of myself. And a lot of my friends have told me this. My dad said, "You've got to chill out. You've got to calm out." And y'all think about it. How many times have I called it out since then? Basically, fucking never. I've never made it personal. I've never gotten, angry and tried to take it that extra step. That doesn't know what he's talking about. And I have the ability for that. And thank God.
Enemy threat has been eliminated. He's regained control of the battlefield.
He jumped out and he apologized. I think he believed the reaction from some of his own audience when he apologized. Some of them believed Asmongold followed an unwritten golden rule of never apologizing under any circumstances, which is clearly a complete misinterpretation of his actual stance.
Asmongold just said that because they agreed with what I said and they were mad that I said that it wasn't really as accurate as they had imagined it. They don't really think about it. And also there are a lot of people who see it as just kind of... This is a big problem that I think a lot of groups of people have, is that they view everything through the lens of gaining ground or losing ground, when sometimes it's better to lose battles to win wars. And I think that when you don't hold people who are bad actors accountable, including yourself accountable, for doing things that are problematic, you end up winning battles and losing wars.
Always stood by the principle of not apologizing in the context of pandering to people for a level of false peace or tolerance. He has always been against apologizing if you don't believe you've done anything wrong. Apologizing is never a weakness if it's genuine. I believe Asmongold's reaction bettered quite a lot of his audience. People seeing him respond like this challenged them as well. Maybe not enough people actually saw what really happened here, but it was a genuine sign of good character that I wish I saw in other content creators or influencers. This is one of the reasons
this is why people get mad, right? And this is the problem that a lot of people that are like oppositional to me politically get a bunch of hate, is that they don't apologize, they don't ever try to walk back statements that were a little bit too extreme, and they don't hold bad actors in their community and in their in their streams accountable in a lot of cases. And like, for example, like people look at that Nazi clip, and what people did with that is like all the people saying W Nazis, is that all of those people were banned immediately. And even my chat and mods reported them and banned all of them. And we got their accounts banned even. So the entire premise of that was completely fake. Like everything about it was fake.
People have a lot of love and respect for PewDiePie to this day. One of my favorite words in the world is the word accountable. Humans are extremely fallible, and we can have some pretty terrible blind spots in our lives. Yeah. So any content creator that advocates for accountability is a content creator that I believe is worth following. I don't believe this controversy makes Asmongold a racist. It actually just reaffirms Asmongold as being a genuine, fallible dude who can own his faults and advocate for bettering himself.
Another reason, by the way, it was never about a race. It was about an ideology and behavior. It was never racist to begin with. It had nothing to do with that from the beginning. But, you know, people love to misinterpret and misunderstand.
Like Asmongold, he tends to play devil's advocate against himself. Asmongold has this beautiful ability at times to approach controversial subjects in good faith. It's something I've noticed about him over the years, and it's definitely a quality I hope he never loses. He doesn't always do it. When he does, I find myself personally challenged. This has actually encouraged his audience, including me, to have a slightly broader perspective when looking into controversial topics where people usually have an established bias. Take, for instance, a post on X last year from Kelly Lombardi, a global games product marketing manager at Xbox. Given how polarizing the gaming industry has become in recent years, it's easy to look at her post and label her as an anti-white liberal elitist. If anyone has the prerogative to lean into that narrative, it would be Asmongold. But instead, Asmongold challenges himself and himself by sharing how he views things from her perspective.
Am I the person that's going to have the hot take? This isn't really that big when I don't really find this to be inherently racist. The problem is that when you're a hammer, every problem is like a nail. And I don't think this was the nail, guys. I don't think that this is advocating for like any sort of exclusion. I don't think it's advocating for degradation. I don't think this one is that big. Am I crazy? And I get how you perceive this as being bad. I do. And like I got pushback because I didn't get mad about Kingdom Come Deliverance Time. And I also got pushback because I didn't automatically categorize South of Midnight as a movie ID either, even though it had a black female protagonist. So I've had a number of elements in this about another minor example as well. We see that, but like I try to interpret things in good faith.
Seeing the videos really struck me up, and it pushed me to rethink my assumptions, and even better me as a man and how I approach these critically. Because my original approach to this post was anything but graceful. Like I said, Asmongold doesn't always do this, but he does do this, and it always gets his audience either thinking or actually annoyed. Another great trait that I believe Asmongold has that I personally like is that he stands behind what he believes. Although I sometimes disagree with Asmongold's approach to tackling some of these issues, I really appreciate how he doesn't back down from what he believes in, regardless of how unpopular his opinion is. Even live
that Overwatch thing, spending Overwatch because they didn't have loot boxes.
When the everyday excess falls away, and we instead prioritize what matters, we find we can go further with less. Siggy Skier, full of protein, less ingredients, less sugar. Less sets you free.
I feel like new sunglasses, like a brand new pair of shoes. I feel like taking chances. I feel.
Remember that? That's crazy. Wow. How about that, huh? Wow.
Maybe it's pure stubbornness, but I think it's good because it gets his audience thinking. Something for me that shows either really good character or a complete lack of caring is that despite immense wealth and fame, Asmongold doesn't change. We're not really going to talk about the subject too much because it could...
I don't really like... I mean, the thing is that... Like, I don't know, like, I always view myself like... It's just weird people want to change their life so much. Like, I've always been happy, like, that's it. I mean, there's things about my life I'm not happy about. But there are people in the world that try to find what's bad with what's inside of what's good, and there are people that try to find what's good inside of what's bad. And I feel like being around people that try to always find the bad and the good is one of the most exhausting emotional vampire things that you can ever deal with. And I try very hard to not be like that. And also, like, just because, and I'm not also, keep in mind, I don't talk down, like, I know, like, Hassan and XQC, like, they like to spend money, you know, like, Nick likes to spend money too. And I think that's great, that's good for them. And so, like, I don't patronize people who spend money or live lavishly either. I just have the way that I do things, and that's what matters to me. Right? And like, that's it. I mean, like, I don't think anybody should or shouldn't do anything unless they want to.
Could just come from a place of genuinely not caring. But I've seen Wealth do some pretty terrible things to some pretty awesome people. And I'm glad Asmongold just stayed true to being himself.
Didn't hire a maid for a multi-million-dollar mansion. He stayed humble for real. 100p on a stack.
It is far too easy to demonize someone by taking what they say out of context or pushing your own bias using their own videos against them. So you could argue that I did the same thing here, but instead of demonizing Asmongold, I did the opposite. I'm not saying that Asmongold is without his faults. I'm just saying it's worth thinking critically about these things for yourself and coming to your own conclusions. I think one of my goals with my YouTube channel is to try and help pull people out of any type of echo chamber they might be a part of. I find myself easily slipping into echo chambers that support my own biases, but I'm always trying to broaden my perspective and look at things a little bit more critically.
Yeah, it's easy to do. Like, I mean, really, it's you have to look at things that way. Good, an outside perspective, but you should take care of yourself more. Not buy 3 Bentleys. Remember, you can't. They can't bury you with that money. Whenever I say I don't give a shit, like, I really mean that. It's not a big deal to me one way or another. I mean, I don't understand why people don't, like, kind of get that. But to me, I just. You know, I'm a relaxed guy, you know, like everything's fine. I'm not worried or upset or anything like that. Eat better food. Yeah. Money is my end goal. Yeah.
A lot of the hate Asmongold gets, at least the kind people think is genuinely justified, comes down to ideological differences. If you look around X, Reddit, and YouTube, you'll find plenty of posts from people who strongly believe in ideas like DEI, identity politics, or even critical race theory.
Well, the reason why those people have those opinions is because the people who don't have those opinions are banned. Like, it's not like this is an organic perspective that has just arisen from the website. It's because it's carefully curated, and anybody who just, who goes away from that gets in trouble.
Off to Asmongold simply because he speaks out against these ideas. What's interesting is that a lot of these people don't seem to engage with his actual points or arguments. They just see that he challenges certain progressive ideas and instantly label him as problematic or toxic. It's more about defending their own worldview than actually considering what he is saying. In reality, his views often seem more about calling out the extremes on both sides rather than attacking anyone group. But of course, nuance doesn't always fit into the internet outrage cycle.
Nuance doesn't fit inside of most tweets. That's the reason why.
Now, I do want to add a disclaimer that I don't always agree with everything that politically and philosophically, we have quite a few differing perspectives, especially when it comes to philosophical views. But this is no way to ever be reasonable to spread hate towards him. Because I sometimes disagree with him, he has actually encouraged me to see things from a different perspective, which I appreciate and has actually taught me a lot. It's natural for people to hate people. We're born with this instinct. I personally try not to hate anyone myself, but that's because I built my life on my Christian beliefs and worldview. And I also want to honor God with my life. But one thing I don't believe anyone should ever do is spread unnecessary hate towards anyone, especially if it has no substance. I am an advocate of holding individuals or corporations accountable for their actions or behaviors if there is genuine warranted evidence to do so.
It's funny to see, whenever anybody looks at the kind of shit that people...
Thank you everyone for watching my video, and thank you so much to my Patreons for all your support. I might do a part 2 on this in the far future, but I just really want to get my thoughts out on here because I've been seeing this conversation for a little too long without any level of critical thinking from a lot of people. And like I said, please can we not harass anyone? I don't want to spread hate. That is the complete opposite of what I'm trying to do here. Let's all make this a beautiful place where we can all disagree healthily. If you completely disagree with any of my points, I would love to actually converse with you in the comments below. Let's keep it civil, obviously, but I really want to see some of your perspectives on any of these topics, and maybe we can all work together to better YouTube and better the internet in any shape or form.
Oh shit. I feel like this is. I'm glad I watched this. I really agree. I mean, pretty much with everything he said, and I think that a lot of the people that hate me. The thing is that I actually feel like the biggest positive is the hate thread about me. I think that the hate thread about me and the internet hate crusade against me has been probably one of the best things in my career. It's been massively successful and incredibly positive for me, because a lot of people that get really mad about the stuff that I say are just mentally ill retards on the internet. So when they go and they actually watch my streams, they say, wow, I bet this guy's like actually a Nazi. He's talking about like how bad black people are. And I go on the stream, you go on my stream and I'm not doing that. They are like, okay, well actually this guy's pretty normal. So it's basically advertisement. It is become advertisement. And you're starting to see people on Twitter even turning around on this. They're starting to realize that, a lot of the things that I'm saying and the things that I'm doing are not as extreme or crazy as people would imagine. And so, yeah, why do you think there's so much of a team narrative and fence sitting is so hated? The reason why is because people are bred that way, and it's been millions of years of biological selective breeding that's caused people who stay inside of tribes to reproduce more often. So I think that it really makes sense in a lot of ways psychologically. It makes sense evolutionarily. I think it makes sense in a lot of perspectives, and also people don't want to get harassed either. It makes sense. So yeah, people are tribal, and that's what's going to happen. And so the more that people get mad about me, the more that people are going to be talking about me, thinking about me, and ultimately the more viewers I'm going to get. Because the people who are getting mad at me, this is the real truth, is that I have complete confidence in what I'm saying. And the reason why is because I know that when you put out these opinions, and these opinions go into the public, and it gets put on Twitter, or people are talking about it, I welcome the free marketplace ideas. If people disagree with what I'm saying, I'll listen to what they're going to say. I'll listen to their disagreements. Not all the time and not from everyone, but I do spend time doing that, at least privately. And so the problem is that a lot of the people that are oppositional to me, not only are they unwilling to do that, but they're actively afraid of it. The one thing that they don't want is for people to hear what they're saying, and they don't want to have their opinions critically evaluated, because they know what's going to happen. And I think it's the biggest self-report in the world. Like, why are you afraid of other people critiquing and listening to what you're saying? Well, the reason why is because you know you're wrong. You know somewhere deep down inside that you're full of shit, you're a fucking moron, and everybody knows it. And that's the real reason. This is a great video. I'm going to link it to you guys. Go like it. This guy's great. And Pat, I've watched a number of his videos before. I think you're right with Shimmer talking out his ass. Yeah, I know. And like it's inclusive to exclusive people. Well, I don't know. You don't have a lot of terrible takes. Israel still sucks, though. I've never been a supporter of Israel. I'm not a supporter of Israel. You put that in. You decided that I was a supporter of Israel. I didn't decide that. I never said that. I never promoted that. I never got into that. It is very fair to think that Israel is probably a little bit too aggressive with the way that they respond, and also Hamas and the other terrorist organizations are bad as well. This is
Why Israel is fine? It's Palestine.
I think it is. I think this is the personal opinion that most people have.
Why? That's where Jesus
I
was.
know, I just don't have really any desire to go.
What, see where the most important person in all history was?
Like, if I had a choice between Israel or like London or like Hitler or something like that,
That's sad. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you and your soul.
If somebody was like, hey, we're a free trip going to Israel, yeah, I'd go.
So Amrath was watching a video of me talking about these crazy people, right? And so Amrath was watching my video, right? And so then pretty much Amrath goes and says that the people that are doing that need to go live in LA where the fires are, right? That's pretty much what it is. I'm not really going to repeat this. Now, here's really the big difference between myself and a lot of people that are my detractors. Is that I have no problem calling out, saying
It's like,
that
oh, I
that's
got a
not
free
a
ticket
nice
for that
thing to
kid.
say,
And
it's
I'd
a
be like,
bad
have
thing to
fun.
say, you shouldn't say that. And so the big problem that I think a lot of people have with, and again, yeah, we can't incite violence. I have tried to make a conscious effort to not support or promote people that, or promote things that incite active violence, right? And that's, it's a bit much, right? And so anyway, this is the big difference between myself and the people that criticize me. Is that the people that criticize me and the people that complain about me all the time like to make excuses for other people that are on their side inciting violence or saying that people like that violence is bad. And so the difference between I have no problem saying that that's bad, right? Maybe Amrath had a bad day. I disagree with what her opinion is, but everybody's going to have whatever opinion they want, right? That's it. That's a strong act. No, it's not. It's not a strong act. But one of those people, and this is a song also that I want to about his life. He's on the list of the NPC thing as well. And so, and literally, these people are justified advocating for violence, doxing, threatening, putting bounties on, and just in general being violent. This is not good. It's not good behavior. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what it is. And some people think that it's okay if they're on, what they would consider the right side of history. So we'll go ahead and watch these clips. Obviously, I take one day off. I take one day off. And this is what happens.
So being part of the platform campaign, etc. I know this is a drama, but I wanted to make people in well-meaning figures like aware, like Mike from PA and others.
How can you call Mike from PA a well-meaning figure when he was the one who threatened to beat up Destiny and put a $100,000 bounty on Destiny? How can you possibly call him well-meaning when he's making a post criticizing somebody? Listen, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem that I think a lot of people have. And Hassan isn't saying this, by the way. The person who is reading your tweet is saying this. I'm not blaming this on Hassan. My point is, though, people fucking hate this hypocrisy. They hate this blatant, unfair, bullshit hypocrisy where you can call a piece of shit that is putting bounties on people for $100,000. We having an F? Yeah, having There's no F's. Yeah, what are you talking about? There's no letting on. The reason why I'm not letting this on is because he's literally not saying it. He's reading a message from somebody in chat, right? Here's the difference between myself and a lot of people who criticize me. Is that it doesn't matter how unfair they get, I never stop being fair. Because the moment that I stop being fair is the moment that I no longer have any integrity. It's the moment that I'm no longer the person who is, on the right side of things. So that's always what it's going to be, right? And I'm always going to try and do that. Now, I might make mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes, but I try not to make mistakes. My point, though, is that the problem is, like, how the fuck do you say somebody is well-meaning when they put a bounty out on somebody that they don't like? Insane. Fucking crazy to say that. Hold yourselves accountable before you try to hold other people accountable.
Right-wing shooter radicalization. Step 1, go to Hassan's house. Step 2, get divorced. Step 3, watch Asmongold once.
That's all it takes.
I promise you two things. One, if there wasn't such a fucking high density of hogs that were looking for hog content, right? What's going on with my camera today? If there wasn't such a high density of hogs that were like literally looking desperately for some kind of hog content on Twitch, which led to a massive amount of people gravitating towards Asmongold, and Asmongold getting like fucking 50K every day doing right-wing commentary, none of the...
If you think that the people who are watching this and think that it's
will decide his fate.
I feel like 80%, 90%, like if you show this clip to an average American a Walmart American, you're gonna think these people are fucking nuts. This isn't a extreme hog opinion. This is the general consensus. It's not even, and I don't understand, like, this is, and again, I'm not even defending what Amaranth is saying. I disagree with what Amaranth is saying. But to say that my content is eliciting these reactions, I don't think that's fair.
To a massive amount of people gravitating towards Asmongold, and Asmongold getting like fucking 50K every day doing right-wing commentary. None of these motherfuckers would do this, okay? They just wouldn't. That's it.
For a lot of people, what the song is saying is that the reason why people are saying the things that they're saying now is because I've proven that these opinions are popular by the amount of views that I get. And I think that is accurate. And so basically, but the alternative to that is that people are censored and they can't have the opinions that they actually have. They can't express them because they're afraid of getting banned. So that's basically what happens.
Well, it's not like a perspective. For many of them, they just don't care. It comes from places like, I'm going to do shit.
He's right. Most people, and this is true with a lot of gamers, and most people, not everybody is involved in politics, and you see this with every election. There is a huge contingency, like somewhere around 20 to 30% of the population, that's how it goes. This is
true. Politics, I see that this is what it's happening as well. And the perfect example I can give you is when the most prominent voice of politics on the platform before the last round was myself. Back then.
Like, I cover politics and a bunch of others. Hassan primarily covers politics. Like, that is the primary focus of this channel. That is what he does. Like, I've never gone and done this, like, he's number 2, I'm number 1. I don't see it that way. I don't know why. Like, I guess people in his chat are mean to him. I'm not, I don't do that. I think it's
That's how you said every single streamer was hyper woke. I mean, there are plenty of streamers who were.
But I think that he brings up a good point here. What he's saying is it's the power of suggestion and the power of consensus. It's actually just what I was talking about before, about how Reddit existed. And basically what he's saying is that a lot of streamers felt more confident and more comfortable expressing woke opinions because that was the way the culture was. But now the culture has shifted and people have basically changed their opinions. And consensus is different now. Now you have people that aren't expressing those opinions as much because they're afraid of backlash. Now, what I would counter this with is that both of those groups of people are equally disingenuous, and they're both doing and saying things that are just simply excluded from the group. Now, you can say at this point matter, but it's important to keep that in mind. And also, the reason why people were like hypothetically like super woke back then, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, is because not being like that caused you to get banned off of the platform. So you can't really compare the two things because back then there wasn't even the option to have another opinion. You couldn't even say anything different. So obviously when you ban everybody who disagrees with you, you're going to be in a platform of people who only disagree with you. Like that's just how it is.
But there were a lot of streamers who didn't necessarily give a shit, but basically played ball with that kind of politics.
Yeah, they would make comments and say things that were positive towards woke stuff because those streamers, the reason why though is because those streamers were doing the same thing that Starbucks, they're doing the same thing that Target was doing, or anything else. Like, people are not thinking about a lot of these bigger streamers as like individuals and start thinking them more, start thinking about them more as brands. Is that these people are brands and they're trying to say the thing that's popular with the most people. so they're trying to have the opinion that is going to get them more, which make people like them more. That's it. Like you, I don't know if you can go back. Like the thing is that you can say like me, like you can watch videos that I made in 2014 where I say the same things I'm saying now. Right? You can go back and watch videos of me saying on 2020 right before the school riots, like January 6th. You know, like I said the same thing that I'm saying now. I've never changed my narrative about marching anything. I think if anything, January 6th is a little bit different because like I originally didn't think it was that big of a deal. I watched Destiny's coverage of Destiny. I think he made a pretty good argument to January 6th being worse than what my initial impression of it was. And we're not going to begin an open debate about this, right? This is just I'm just expressing my viewpoints and how it's evolved. But that's because I learned more about it, right? But anyway, of course, people have these opinions because those opinions got them more brand deals and they got them more money. It wasn't because they had these opinions organically. It's because the people that weren't allowed to have those opinions were banned. That's it.
A lot of people in this community, because we're so intentional and so hyper aware of politics, assume that content creators in their fucking communities of rather apolitical people don't just like swing in every direction. He's right, but simply because that gains them more confidence.
I think there's a degree that is true. Is that people will try to generally echo the consensus of the public. Most people, and like you saw that, I think a really good example about this, like Sonic probably agrees with something, is that the way that when the Israel-Palestine thing happened, like October 7th happened, every celebrity was rushing out to get a take on it. But then a lot of it, like remember like Justin Bieber, like said, pray for Israel, and then he posted a picture of Gaza, and it was like destroyed, right? So a lot of these celebrities are trying, and this is streamers the same way, right? That's the point I'm making. It's like they're only trying to have the opinion that's popular. That's it. And so yeah, that's really Bieber L. Yeah, exactly. And so like that's actually accurate. Yeah.
In many circumstances, that's precisely what's going on.
Yeah, and I think also, I think it's reductive to say that to an extent also, because you have the component of platform bans. Like, there were people that got platform bans for having opinions that were problematic, right? Like, I think obviously Destiny is an example of that. Like, I would say Ethan Ross is an extreme example of that. But by the way, like he's trying to rehabilitate his image, etc. And so, like, that's the way I see it in a lot of cases. But I don't think I'm being repeated. Yeah, I mean, sure, right? I mean, obviously, he doesn't agree with a lot of things I say. He's going to be, upset about it. But anyway, the point is that, yes, this does happen. So this is a video that I did, and there's a new part. This is one part. Second part. It says 81,000 likes with 50 the idea that like this content isn't popular or like this isn't the consensus is insane. And I would argue that I don't really see a lot of people that are producing content that is in favor of these types of people that is receiving this level of consensus, this level of feedback. The reason why what I'm saying is popular and why people watch these videos is because they agree with them. And I think that it creates like there's like a symbiosis, right? Where you have me putting out an opinion and then people agree with it, which makes me just putting out opinions more well known. And then, it's like a multiplier effect for all of that, right? And so anyway, that's what's been happening a lot. What's this year? Because it's obvious truth. Yeah. I think that the idea that like like you played this video, like what percentage of you guys would watch this video and think to themselves, "Holy shit, this is hard time." Like I would say 99.5%. I would say it's easily over 80%, right? It's easily over 80%. It's only 99% of people on Earth. Yeah, exactly. And so this is what happens with a lot of these organizations that exactly. And so the idea that like it's popular with people like that is it's completely and massively untrue. And yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean it's not because they're getting views, but I think that it does matter. I mean, and just to Hassan's point, I think that it does make a difference that when I'm saying something and then a lot of other people see that, wait a minute, hold up, other people actually agree with this, right? This actually is, it does cause a lot more people to say, well, actually, yeah, I do. Because for a long time, that entire perspective was censored from Twitter and Reddit and YouTube. I think you can see that with COVID. Like, if you look at Twitter, it says COVID now versus then, it's a completely different universe. Anyway, we'll go to the next one.
This is visually no different than when someone hits the fucking stick tile. Other people do it too. It normalizes that kind of attitude. It normalizes that kind of politics. It's precisely to be fair. Just in case anybody was keeping that. I defended Elon Musk for doing that because I thought it was just an awkward actor. Did I defend that pastor? Did I defend Steve Bannon? No, I didn't. Because I thought it was intentional. So this is again a false equivalence. I've never said that. I doesn't monitor it. That doesn't mean that I'm like okay with all of it happening. I only said that it was okay because I didn't think Elon meant it that way. You shouldn't have meant that. Well, I mean, the point that I was making to Elon is I didn't believe that it was intentional. I didn't think that there's enough evidence. But yeah, we didn't do that. Anyway, we will be doing the Argentina president. Also, yeah, I never defended any of this. Things that happen. I mean, I clearly know about it, right? So I didn't talk about it. Okay, Matthew Gold says a bunch of unhinged kids being off and on. If you were to take it more, the American boy, or hey, if you want to have it be even more in my favor, the whole population.
Wow.
Myself, or this person in I think that's that would be such an incredibly very good day for me. And so you don't have to ask, everybody knows this. And so the idea that like what I'm saying about these people is unhinged is outrageous. That's why these videos have received such good receptions. It's because a lot of people agree with it.
That cigarette?
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. We did have
What? I was.
Yeah,
I'm almost done.
I think that does stand to
That shit was so fucking just. It was unnecessarily difficult for no reason. Yeah, I'm on Final Battle. That's what it said.
What he suggested, the alternative to that is that I'm not allowed to express my opinion. Expressing my opinion would lead to other people expressing their opinion. Now, I'm of the viewpoint that it's best to allow myself to express my
It's definitely a game I suggest that people play at least once. Give it a chance.
Is there a deathmatch or anything like that in that one?
What's that?
You can play online against people. So you could be like, you could be the imps, or you could be or whatever, and you could be the big bosses and stuff. You could be the Doom Slayer, and you can play like deathmatch. You were able to do that in Doom Eternal in the original game. You were able to play online, and you were able to get like your Doom Slayer modded up, change his colors, put armor on him and stuff. Like multiplayer. It was multiplayer.
Like there's a lot of things that basically I don't
It
think
won't
you
be ready
should
in
ban
time,
for
sir.
basically
I don't know.
anything except for breaking the law.
Refueling complete.
So like for a lot
Royal
of these
Atlan
things, I would
online.
actually not really care about anybody getting banned. But at the same time, I don't think you can ban. I feel like this is a pretty good indicator, right? Banning everybody who disagrees with like COVID or who disagrees with like any woke policies.
You have a lot of souls in there, like the flying skull heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the ones
So,
that are
as
like
somebody,
the?
and like he's been on the
They
internet.
fly around and fucking throw the wasp heads, or fucking the demon red wasp heads that fucking laugh and blow up as they hit you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That they
Yeah, I knew. I could tell. Yeah, there's original stuff.
But when Doom 3 came out on the PC and the original Xbox,
You know,
it was the most terrifying game in the world because you had a flashlight. It was the first time it was ever survival horror. It was a survival horror type game in Doom 3. It wasn't like this or super fast paced like the originals. There's only one like survival horror type one. That was Doom 3. It was terrifying. It came out when I was a freshman. You would have been like 6th grade.
If they have unhinged politics privately, it's usually going to come out. But what matters is what they're saying.
A lot of darkness. You had the shine your flashlight. You look up and an imp would be in the fucking
audience members,
the ceiling, looking down at you, and fucking. They had the imps had rocket packs strapped to their back too. Shoot rockets.
Like we have the right opinions. I think that's a very dangerous road to go down. It is, and I think that the people that do go down that road, oftentimes were leading the campaigns to have the song.
Rare one too is Doom 64.
They're the same ones. It's just that they see that argument from a different perspective. I think that the only way to look at this in a healthy way is to value freedom of speech, let people put their ideas out there, let it be known to the free marketplace of ideas, and the people will decide.
I remember when they released it on Xbox, I had it on the original Xbox Steel. It was a huge deal. They released Doom 3 on Xbox, and they came with an extra disc with the first 2 Dooms on it.
Unelected council of moderators in San Francisco
who love them. They have audience members who will be swayed by their attitude. Okay? I don't give a shit if they're genuinely, in this regard, I don't give a shit if they're genuinely
swaying society to think a certain way. Everyone who's talking about politics is trying to sway people to think about it the way that they think about it. Obviously, people discuss things and talk about things in persuasive ways because
there were 5 episodes. There was something called the shareware version. That's what they got you free on a demo. You're able to play episode 1, and then if you wanted the game, you pay an extra like $3.
Politics, or if they're just simply doing it for the grid.
Let's see if is there another one?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's
Doom
another
2
one.
did that.
Saki's playing Destiny fans. Sex Destiny fans spread fake bullshit on the Reddit page using full moderation. Fans use the exact same language they use about being a radical. I don't think this is really fair either. Why Asmon's fans use the exact same language they use about me being a radical? Well, I think that every single person will come to the answer of 4 when you look at a question, which is, what is 2 plus 2? When you bring on somebody who is a terrorist, you introduce them as a terrorist, and then people say that you're a terrorist supporter. I think that
Final
you're going
Doom.
to obviously have that reaction.
There's an original one after Doom 2 called Final Doom.
Maybe the
I think it's
reason
supposed to
why
be the last
people
one.
in different communities are coming to the same conclusion about the things that you're doing.
There's also a Doom
is
2
because
RPG.
That is, in fact, what you're doing.
Ultimate Doom.
Like, am I crazy? Like, if you show 100 people a picture of an apple, almost every single person's going to say it's an apple.
Hexen does not count as Doom.
Let's see what the rest one is. There's 2 of these, and we're dealing. Some of them are libs who hate Asmon's politics. They just hate me more because their politics are primed by what Epstein says, and hates me, and he hates Asmon. This is some fucking, like, this is some Game of Thrones shit. Like,
It for today. Here.
I don't know about that, right? But anyway, yeah, this is between
Both of those
I'm
were
not
big.
Gonna get involved with that. You can't reason with extremists. Well, I'm not trying to change anybody's, like, I'm not trying to change I'm trying to listen to goddamn DNA.
So it was an iPhone now. It was an on-rail shooter. That's why I've not played every single game. I mean, there's like those little random ones here and there. 64 was so watered down though because it's a Nintendo title. Back in the day, when Wolfenstein came out for Super Nintendo, there was no pictures hanging around the wall. There were no pictures of Lady Warrior on their arms.
What?
Giant rats. Because they didn't want to have the simulation of killing animals. So that's why we played with Sega Extra.
Why did it go from Sega to a Nintendo?
There was a port. So
like what XQC is saying is like
it's just a port. Also, if you got Doom on a Super Nintendo, it's a red cartridge.
You know, it's effectively
like Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, like it's very clear that like his Trump's viewpoint is more popular than the other person's viewpoint. Because if the other person's viewpoint, like Paul Harris, they would have had.
It was just a cleaner. It was a cleaner version. And then, so there used to be the center game called Noah's Ark 3D. Okay, so it ran on the original Wolfenstein 3D engine. You know what you did? You had this slingshot, and there was a Noah on the ground, on the bottom, just like Wolfenstein, and you have your health and all that. You shoot this magic rock. And when you would shoot and stuff, they would disappear and they would teleport onto the arc. It's called Noah's Ark 3D. It was for Super Nintendo. But it was their attempt to use the Wolfenstein 3D engine for Christian Bible.
I think that's true. Bush got it most recently. Yeah.
This is what it looked like.
You're not fake. The general population.
You play as Mila. See how it's exactly like Wolfenstein, like Doom? There's a monkey right there, and you shoot the monkey.
Like I would say, extreme left wing.
I think it teleports them, or it's like a rope or like a net around them, so you can capture them and put them on the arc.
Hollywood and just in general, all types of mainstream
popular media. Oh, you can buy it on Steam.
And I think that again,
wow, you
can
literally buy it on Steam.
Was Elon Musk buying Twitter? When Elon Musk bought Twitter and kind of let everybody
no physical copy.
Then everybody started seeing
because I think it's a game that never actually went to
we're not this tiny, extreme minority. There's actually more of us than there are of them, and so. Acts with common sense.
There's another one that's really rare too.
I think that there was a
Bible game for Nintendo
consensus that happened.
NES. And that's actually worth a lot of money to find it. They're like weird Bible games.
Consensus.
Combat mode engaged. Sequence are on and online.
If I get on a copy of Super Noah's Ark, I play it.
Yeah, and in California, they voted against collectively more people voted than had gone to right? So, like, around there, yeah, nobody likes Trump. I'm in Austin, Texas. Like,
I still remember all the codes to the original Doom. IDDQD. That was no flipping notes, you took your balls.
Like, LA is
IDDQD.
Like, demographics, population, etc. The only thing that's different about LA is the gas is not twice as much.
DKFA was popular. Whenever you became invincible, the eyes at the bottom, your face would turn white. Let
me see. Does he talk about me? Up, down, left.
So, this lady almost crashes into this car, and she's got a kid in the car. He's like 12 years old. She goes, I told my mom not to get in the car and drive. She's drunk. And she's not. Why'd you tell the cops that? Because you're drunk. It's not right. 12-year-old kid.
very true. And I think that's the case down a lot of things. And I feel oh God. It's still going on. And so here's really the main difference between myself and a lot of the people that are disagreeing with me, a lot of people point out. The main difference between the two of us is that when Amrat pops off and says something like what she said, I have no
Amrat got married out of the blue. Nobody even knew
hesitation
that
of
was
saying
somebody.
that it's not
That guy on the
you don't like or you think are crazy, which I don't like them and I do think they're crazy, but I don't wish for them to be caught on fire in the LA violence. I think that that's too much of a lie. So the problem is that while
not like Amrat.
No, he does. She just was running her fucking mouth about this. She shouldn't have been.
you know, it's and again, I'm not aware of either.
Like the whole kayak thing, and
I don't think you should be talking about things that way, right? I don't like it. So,
Patients make a choice when they want to require to have it protected. Now they don't have to go back. It's not code for one. Usually it's wired to 24/7 sensitivity protection and safety. Our patients will love it.
Dude, this looks so good. That exactly like action. Looks so good. Is it out yet? Oh, June 13th. It's cool that Gerard Butler gets to come back and play the exact same character he played in the movies. How many are there? Are there 3? How to Train Your Dragons?
Oh, dude, there's a bunch.
And a TV show and stuff too. But like, what about pickup and are they like the main ones out of like the first 2 movies or whatever?
Oh yeah.
bad actors. I am more than willing to call out bad actors in my group. I view myself as a I made the video about Elon Musk. He got mad about it. I've made bad videos about Trump. I've criticized Trump's stance on Ukraine multiple times, and I've had no problem with that. So this is what's always been happening, and I've covered it. So I've been clear about everything that I think. You know, that's just the equivalent of what many people are saying when they tell liberals they should go live in the Middle East because of ideology. That doesn't mean that you are wishing death on them. I think that telling somebody to live inside of a fire is very. That's just me, right? I mean, like again, like we're getting very granular in like these conversations, but my point is that again, I don't really support telling somebody to kill themselves or somebody should die or whatever, right? Anyway, I'll watch this one and then we're gonna.
That's so wrong.
What?
It's just at Walmart in the parking lot. Somebody found a baby sitting in the back seat, probably like 6 months old. She got stale Declon that's always been on there for like 2-3 days. Bullshit, I guess. Scratches across her chest from her scratching herself, being itchy, and it looks like she's got a fever, and they have no idea what the dad is, and apparently the dad's in Walmart buying stuff for himself.
Yeah, you suck.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And so that is just that is we'll put it in.
And you're trying to figure out the legality of it because the dad hasn't come out of Walmart. They don't know who he is yet. That can they legally take that kid out of the car or move her into a ambulance and take her without consent of their father? That's what they're trying to figure out.
Thrifting is whenever you do something for popularity or money. Isn't Amrat like fucking like a super multi-millionaire because of OnlyFans? You think her reacting to this video is thrifting? Come on.
Well, his dad's a total douchebag. Pink polo shirt with the collar popped. Khaki shorts. Sandals.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's the guy. Put hair on the top.
People use that word. I made a tweet about this. I said that the term drifter is like one of those. When I hear that word, I take what a person is saying a lot less seriously.
He's like, I have the right to leave my kid in the car. I need to leave a 6-month-old kid in the car. You have the right.
Yeah, to become a person.
Yeah, I do.
And so,
Wow, he left his other kid in the car too. But the kid got out of the car and went in looking for her dad in the Walmart by herself.
Actually thought you were different. Oh God. Last night. I think it's going to do this weird thing where they expect to have universal.
Did you know that the hives or the vines are banned from Saturday Night Live?
I think it's actually one of the toxic
because they play super drunk and like threw their cars and stuff and upset, like set stuff on fire and stuff. It's a crazy Australian. Nirvana is banned from Saturday Night Live because it hurt. They're like, do not play Reiki. Do not play Reiki.
You look it up right now.
And he starts playing Reiki. He goes straight into lithium.
It's an extreme.
He just stays the chorus.
So I just want to make sure this is cited. 4 experiments confirmed humans automatic filter bias in harmonies from their and even filter bias
in the moment of the Muppets, they were banned from Saturday Night Live. Not the Muppets. They were banned from Top of the Pops because they had the lip sync. And
I'm not saying it's not.
Mama Kathy and the other chick didn't like it, so they went on stage lip sync, but one of them was eating a banana while she was supposed to be singing. So the track just played. She was eating a banana. Dude, your little kid's sick and everything. Why don't you light up a cigarette right next to him?
It's dumb as fuck, man. Men will do the little opposite. They'll simp for women, for girls to take a guy's side, even though the guy is right. Yeah, because they want to fuck the girl. Like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's also probably an evolutionary trait as well.
Sir,
And absolutely. But anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
you cannot be watching
So,
your
the reason why
kid,
a lot of the
kid,
content
while you go
stuff like
inside the
this
shop.
has been happening,
Because
and
what,
the
you're
reason
18?
why a lot
No,
of people
you're
watch videos that I do, etc. It's actually very simple.
Well, my 5-year-old's very smart.
It's because a lot of people, and that's it. And so, if you want to have more viewers,
This
if
guy
you want
gets
to,
arrested for child neglect.
get more people to watch, you have to look at what like how to calibrate.
The firefighter just walked up
what
and he
you're
goes,
communicating
"Are
in a
you
way
your father?"
that
He goes,
the
"Yeah." He goes,
public
"What the hell is wrong with you?"
And notice the way that I
"Excuse me?"
said that. I'm not saying that you have to change what you're saying, but the way that you say something is sometimes more important than what you're saying. And I think that there's been a lot of examples where like people will get really mad at me for something, and it's really like I have this problem myself, and it's because I really kind of play into it. Is that I communicate ideas that are kind of like unpopular but true, like in like a very hostile way, in order to like bait a reaction. And I do, but sometimes that alienates people against me. So the point is that
He's really using he has to go to the hospital because he doesn't want to pay for it.
It's showing people that this type of thing is happening. I don't know why you guys are going to put the ads. Like on mine, I have 0 drop.
Yeah, they'll probably pay $75 for that. Will cost.
So just to be clear, it's Reddit Alex. Well, from the post that I showed. Well, Reddit usually study, you can look at 50 other studies. I mean, it's observable reality, so you can repeat it and see it repeat it. But anyway, so yeah, the big difference between the myself and people that criticize me a lot is that I have no problem calling out bad actors or calling out people who say things that I disagree with. And even if they are ideologically borderline, and I think people that are disagreeing with me and people that are perceive themselves to be on the opposite side of it, I think that if they took my approach more open, they would be more successful themselves. Because I think that people can see hypocrisy. And the reason why the public hates hypocrisy so much is because it's an insult to the public's intelligence.
You and Murray County are rich.
What happens when you take the public's instead you take something and you lie to the public and you say this isn't the same thing, and everybody can see that it is. And so that's why, is that hypocrisy is the personal insult of we're okay with this and you should be okay with this because of this reason. Context, man. Yeah. And, but yeah, I disagree with you on a lot of stuff that you're the only true on a lot of it. Yeah, but that's fine, right? A lot of people disagree and it depends on how. And some people child predators will probably $30 worth of brands. I don't know about that. I just wanted to mention here, Recall said he wanted people to die. Yeah, exactly. I never said that. And if I had said that, I would have got banned. I would have gotten in trouble. Another big post. Everybody's mad at me. And if I had gotten suspended for that, I would have said, okay, I probably went over the line. Right? So yeah, there you go. Title of the post is a little garbage. You never advocate for violence against these people. No, I never did. Of course not. I tried to make a very conscious effort to avoid doing things like that and to avoid being that kind of person. Now, obviously, everybody makes mistakes, etc. But it's one of the reasons why, and I think and the reason why. So let me explain the reason why. Is that every action that I take and everything that I do, I think is working towards a greater goal of something that I think is beneficial towards me or some sort of outcome that I'm looking to have, right? That's everything that I do. And I think about, is me doing this going to get me closer to that outcome or not? I don't think about it emotionally at all. I don't think about how I feel about it. I don't think about anything. I only think about how do I move myself closer to that goal with every action that I take. And I view advocating for violence as something that takes me away from that goal. And that's why I apologize for the Palestine thing, because I thought that
he lied.
Me taking myself
They got him on camera. He took 40 minutes. He brought his fight with them in there.
Right, and calibrating that into a way that's more understandable and fairer for people, I think is something that people like watching. And I think that, again, the numbers speak for themselves.
Every day excess falls away, and we instead prioritize what matters. We find we can go further with less. Ziggy Skier, full of protein, less ingredients, less sugar. Less sets you free.
He's going to jail.
A child walked into a school building. A man followed. Minutes later, that man was tackled by a staff member.
So, Buffalo schools are covering up child abuse. What the fuck?
Minutes later, that man was tackled by a staff member and arrested for attempted abduction. The child's parents were never told. The only reason anyone found out is because the detective got a copy of the deleted surveillance footage and by staffers recorded his phone.
And so this is from the podcast.
Family found out from the district attorney. That detective's name is Richard Hyde. He's not a political actor. He's not a teacher. He's not a disgruntled parent. He's an SVU cop. 13 years on the Buffalo Police Force. 2 years assigned to child sexual assault. And he says the school system in Buffalo fails to report crime. It suppresses them, it obstructs justice, it hides victims, and it ignores subpoenas. Hyde laid it all out in April 2025.
Dude, what
on
the
a
fuck?
podcast, then on camera, then in court filings. Within 48 hours, over 650,000 people had heard what he said, and what he said was specific. He claimed the Buffalo Public School District routinely labeled child sexual assault reports as
Sir, he needs to let this go. I can't be tested.
from being investigated. He said subpoenas from law enforcement were ignored, signed by judges, handed to the district, and left unanswered.
This is as bad as it sounds.
If you hear to let it go now, it's not even an episode. It is something you know is angry.
This is true.
Check your under arrest. No.
Even now I'm at a loss of words. How to even explain it. I will say, your discretion to advise.
People are standing on the Reddit during my vacation. I really.
Everyone should see this message. And I know
the likes and dislikes.
You guys, wow.
This is great. The ball is asking why am I going to jail?
And really quick, so
This talks about that.
purpose of this, all the accidents in my this video creates this to because in order to reach as many people as possible, this is how you have to do it. Otherwise, it gets easy. And we don't want that for this message. Rules for the end of times with this. I know we defend those who might be in good number that have a voice. So again, the administration is advised.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. Rich has something important to say. We would like to
Ready to let this go.
I'm
here now.
No? Alright, so this is,
Damn, that's a lot of trouble.
This is real, and this can't affect my life, but it's at the moment where it's relatively reinvigorating. I did want to put the back to the podcast, I'll have to wait till later on just in case. So here's the I've been in SVU, local police department, for 2 years. There was space in between the riot. I left SVU, Special Victims Unit, and I went to 2 other units. I got promoted to lieutenant.
Oh, crazy. You were just talking about SVU.
But during those years before that, there's been an issue where multiple local school systems, specifically their legal representatives in the city, like the city attorneys that specifically work for Buffalo Public Schools, right? So I'm not sure if that's the city of Buffalo buying these attorneys to protect them, or with like the schools, like lawyers for people that do their own thing. But either way,
He says if he does the morning, he goes, I don't understand why a judge can't come tonight. The public get out system. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
Not
the judge is going to get up out of bed
and then can also use the local police department school resource officers to write reports and then get their influence over those officers to then close the report. And that's the story I'll get into.
It's a soft pitch. Why are they doing that?
I don't know. My best estimate is that they're afraid
They don't want to get fired.
they want the numbers to show that there are these police investigations coming after schools, coming after schools, because what effect funding for something somehow.
Yeah.
By the way, it's fucking stupid. If a crime happens at a school, it doesn't mean that funding is that stop the offender from going to school. Oftentimes, there's a problem. People with more money than that problem is fixed. There's nothing you would
The reason why is probably because they know that they are somehow letting this happen. Like they know that they bear some level of accountability and responsibility for it, so that's why they're ignoring it.
This is a real example.
If it bad
There's a
press,
school that's attached to the
exactly.
Buffalo Science Museum. That school is attached to the Buffalo Science Museum. Has doors that can go from the Science Museum into the school. Those doors are not locked. Right, stranger danger, right? That happened. So a stranger went into the school, it's a grade school, very low school, and this person grabbed a camera.
So it's a very low school.
That's their only hit. Outfield.
Like little kids, yeah. It's not like high school.
Are they one like a 1-1?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like, so kids
Yeah.
are 8 to 10. So goes into the school and grabs a young female child, male child, tries to leave. And I'm gonna post the story up onto the at first, the information that came in was that there was one female child that was an attempted abduction. There was no report about the second child. The second child, the boy.
I always thought Tom Petty was from like Texas or something like that.
You didn't know that?
I know he was James Brown. Let's see.
The school did not disclose to the parent that the kid was a part of an attempted abduction. So when parents asked them, why did my kid miss his pants at school, the teachers, the people in charge, did not tell them that there was an attempted abduction. The school then deleted the video of the attempted abduction. And the district attorney's office, excuse me. And the district attorney's office only got it because nobody within the school, we have to wear laws reported that incident.
What? They're hiding something? And also, so there's no, you have to understand, like, a lot of guys, like, this guy worked in a special victims unit. So, this is like what I was but like, whenever he's telling these stories, he's probably thinking about like 10 other stories that are like 100 times worse that he had to do. And like, that's probably what's, it's like kind of like a PTSD type thing, right? It's a good trigger. Yeah. It's like, I don't think people understand like how much like dealing with this kind of stuff, especially like the, you know, new games that they did in long enough games that get you, like that kind of metaphor, like how it's basically like this. Yeah, it can really fucks you up a lot. You said 13 years office, we got 8 years.
Since, you know, so like, over documents from Jersey.
Which, by the way, I mean, deleting evidence of a crime like that is like absolutely illegal. It's not any question. But it's really not.
Schools, legal representatives, and those representatives have intentionally not responded to them. Now, here's the big thing. Yeah, like this is the biggest issue right here is that specific send me over the edge, obviously emotional. So the biggest issue of this entire story.
Cut his fucking head off. You can do it.
You can do it.
When these legal representatives for the Buffalo School Department are ignoring the subpoenas and not just.
Does Donald know about this? Someone needs to send this to Donald. Like, this is crazy. He should, yeah. So, like, idiot. Somebody needs to fucking know about this. This is crazy.
Not responding to them, but being obstructionists.
I'll text them
and actually giving information to school administrators. Not talk to the police force.
Mom is wrong. No,
wait a minute.
Right. And actually responding to them, but being and actually not talk.
So, to actively obstruct a police investigation into a child abduction. And this is being done by a school district? The school district claims these are untruths on Twitter. Yeah, for sure.
Intentionally obstructing this thing. Here's how you prevent the police from doing that. So, and here's where like this crux is coming in. It's kind of a whistleblower thing. there are people that are trying to get this information from the schools and then
Well, like, wouldn't it be easy to tell? Because, so, like, if a school has security cameras, and the security camera footage during the time of this production just doesn't exist, but there's a secondary footage of it that wasn't recorded by the school security system, wouldn't that prove effectively that they deleted it? Like, I mean, I feel like, how do you even deny that?
Destruction is our employees. So guys that are ignoring subpoenas and court orders. And the only way that you can overcome that is if somebody from the court system, judge, attorney general's office, the attorney general of the United States, comes down and says, why are you not responding to these court orders? You were ordered to respond to them, you're not.
Yeah.
And in this specific case, you know, like destruction of evidence, you know,
that's just kind of a bad one, you know?
And
also keep in mind, I talked about this the other day, I'll say it again, is that destruction of evidence is something that, even if the crime hasn't officially been committed yet, it's still something that you can be held accountable for if you are destroying it in anticipation of the crime being reported. So even though it hasn't been charged as a crime yet, this can still be something that you're held accountable for.
Telling one of the kids here, you know, if somebody comes forward, you said somebody has a wherewithal to come forward, the stream video, if somebody comes forward with that, that's still usable evidence. So they have to, first, that's the weird thing about New York State. They don't know the lawyer, and my knowledge is limited, that was my understanding. You need to have somebody confirm the authenticity of the report. So let's say that it's a CCTV of like a corner store. The manager or a worker would have to show up to court and say, that is the video that's from my store. When it comes from, and I don't know if this is how it was done, but let's say like
but that's bad though, right? Because if that's the case, then they're the ones that are recording it and are also trying to hide it.
Unrecorded CCTV footage, and then they were like, hey, they deleted the real CCTV footage, and then gave it to the assistant district attorney. You would need somebody to authenticate that, which would, and this is where the legal process is weird to me. I'm not sure if it means that the individual that sent the CCTV recording from their phone would have to state, I'm so and so. I recorded that with my phone. I was in the office of such and such school, and this is recording of our CCTV footage. Or
I mean, couldn't they also just like reference the metadata too? Because there would be like a creation date and everything for the data. And assuming that this person isn't some kind of like computer scientist, they're probably not going to know how to like make that artificial.
Means that any representative from the school,
yes,
but that person recorded.
Metadata can be changed. Yeah, but like again, it's more certainty, right? Very rarely are you able to achieve 100% certainty. But if you have somebody who doesn't really seem to be computer literate that is doing this, and the metadata matches their story, and there's no history of them having experience changing it or having like education on changing it, then yeah, it's not on the record that the eventually you can still follow on.
Is our CCTV footage.
Did you ever take the boys to the San Francisco Zoo?
Say yes and verify that.
So I'm not sure. Like,
which one is better
for like the lawyer?
San Francisco.
How that process goes, but.
San Francisco? Cool.
Yeah.
I've never been to Oakland Zoo. So
Garbage.
A lot of
oh, is it?
Yeah. Terrible.
Worst example that I have, which is
It's old. They don't take very good care of
I
it.
can't tell you the amount of shit that I have to go through in order to go to a school, talk to a principal, and say, "What did the kids do?"
I don't like zoos.
And
though.
they'll go,
I
can't talk to you.
Like the Irwins, their zoo, the Australian zoo, where they like.
I can't tell you.
I was gonna take care of. They have a whole hospital there. They work on
I think they're just trying to protect their jobs.
increasing numbers for different animals that are maybe like on their
They're doing this
endangered and stuff like that. Like they mate and stuff. It's more of a conservatory than a zoo.
Yeah, I'm getting fucked up.
This is another one?
apparently Steve Irwin, before he died, had a he was trying to get like in the Australia zoos in Vegas. He was working on having one in Vegas, but it never came to fruition. So I guess Robert is now trying to make that happen.
And you're getting you're getting gaslighted by your own school that it didn't.
He
happen.
says that Steve Irwin was like everybody's dad, so he never refers to him as my dad. He
If like the school won't
dad.
even acknowledge the thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
Money above the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's a mix
That
of
was a
fear.
sad
I
day
think
when
it's
that
fear
Irwin
of there's a lot of shit there. I don't think it's like dirty money. I think it's a fear of losing your job.
So
Fear
proud of the man that Robert is now.
They're gonna come
I
back.
appreciate him saying this and not trying to turn this into like
Vinny
some
is
global
beautiful.
like Pizzagate level conspiracy. It's probably just a lot of people that are bad actors or not doing their jobs properly that are scrambling and using kids as effectively collateral in order to protect themselves.
If you, I think it's fear of stepping out of line and then getting reprimanded.
Yep.
This lady was confusing because like killing her
One of the things that I had a girl went through she got beat by her dad. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She got beat by her dad, and she went to school counselor and said she was about to get a school counselor didn't report it. School counselors knows her, but this kid's a liar. She lies a lot about like how cool she was in another school, and you're like, that's normal kid lying shit. Why do you do that? So she didn't report it. And then the next incident happened where this girl had a video recording of, I forget if it was either her dad post beating her or if it was during the beating or if it was of her injuries. I think it was of her dad punching her. And she walks into the counselor's office while she's with another girl, plays the video, and the woman's like, is that you? She's like, yeah, that's me. And then the girl walks out of the office. And then later on in the day, the counselor goes up to her and says, hey, listen, what's going on in the video? Is that you? Like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, that's me. My dad beats me all the time. And then the kid walked away. Not reported. Not reported.
I'm gonna crash out. What the fuck?
Not reported to CPS, not reported to the police. The third time is when my case comes in. The kid comes into school beaten and bruised and swollen, and then they remove the kid from the parents' custody, right?
Okay.
And then that's when I get the investigation of
Okay.
child abuse.
But it took 3 fucking times.
It took 3 times.
Oh, wait, so it's the same kid. So basically, they reported early on, the counselor ignores it. They provide video evidence to the counselor ignores it. Finally, this kid gets totally fucked up. And, oh my god, still ignored. Well, and the counselor probably didn't even have anything to do with the third time. Cry for help ignored 3 times? 2 times, apparently, but yeah. Holy shit, that counselor needs to go to prison, holy fuck. Well, they need to have their license taken away. I mean, at the very least, right? And why? Because they lied about being popular in another school? Who's the adult here?
The first time, hey, CPS.
Yeah.
The girl said that she got beat. I don't really know what's going on. Here you go. And the CPS begins an investigation, and that's the long version.
I really hate this idea that I don't know if you guys have noticed this at all being more pervasive, but have you guys noticed the pervasive and toxic idea that parents should not be privy to and accountable and should not be aware of the things that their children do in school? And I'm seeing this happen in a lot of different cases. I think it happens with, for example, like the gender identification. Now it's happening with this circumstance. It's also happening with like sexuality as well in general. And I think that we're seeing more of a widespread perversion that effectively justifies removing a parent's agency over their own child in like the supposed best interest of the kid. Like, because I've seen in abortions is another one. Yeah, giving the kid way birth control, right, without telling the parent. I think you should be able to give the kid more control, but you should also have to tell the parent. Is that fair, right? I mean, I think that's fair. So, you can record, yeah, it's not just something fire a person for a charge. Well, I just don't know enough about that. Like, if that's true, I think that's what happens. But yeah, this is fucking sick, man. It's a gray area? Yeah, I don't know.
Girl from CPS comes to me, and then if
I'll say
CPS
birth control can make you sterile. Look, if a doctor disagrees with me for legal
Is that
or
true?
medical reasons, I
What?
would defer to
Birth
them.
control can make you
I'm
sterile?
just thinking about this
Yeah.
technically from my perspective. I could be wrong. It's not. I don't strongly hold this decision. It's just something that if I had to fall on one side of the fence, this is kind of what I think is okay.
brings her in, does an interview, and it's valid, I go talk to dad and arrest him. That didn't happen. The second time, there's video fucking proof that she's got a video on her phone that shows you.
Literally
and then you do nothing. Yeah. And so like that, those are the two. That's one that I'm directly involved in. That's one that I happen to know about and I'm investigating.
Wow.
And I can tell you that
this is all in the same school district.
Myself and the people in my unit are concerned, but we can be faithful. The people in my chain of command above me have made complaints, and we've had to go back to be like, let's look at this address of the school.
What's the outcome you want on this? Like what if
Well, you guys see what I'm saying though, right? About how like there is this increasing like narrative that parents are like effectively not fully accountable for their children, and schools and society should be making decisions above the parents. I've been seeing this play out in the last 10 years, and I find it to be incredibly disgusting. And I think this is one of the dark sides of that.
I want the one school counselor that I investigated arrested for not for failing to report.
Okay.
You're not a school counselor if you don't know how to tell people that a child is be arrested.
Even before the crash on, if I would have done the tour after that, it was with the All American Region.
There has to be a repercussions.
That it could do that.
Exactly. There's repercussions.
So like the people aren't reporting the system will fuck them. Like people report. It's just
So he's totally fucking right about that. Because yeah, if you're afraid of getting fucked by the system, then you have to create a system where if you don't report, you get even more.
like you need to do your job.
It's like this random
right?
You don't have to talk to the police. Like everybody has their own individual rights for self-preservation. You know, your Fourth Amendment rights. You don't have to Miranda rights. You don't have to talk to them. But it's different when you're a mandated reporter, and it's different when parents aren't being told why their kids. If you you've been a kid, you're not a kid, not you either. If you picked up your fucking popper, Jimmy, the first thing you do is walk to teacher. Yeah. And you would expect the real answer. Somebody tried to steal you. What you wouldn't expect is for that school to do video. What you would expect is for that school to be like, I'm not sure if something happened. You have to talk to an administrator about it. I'm not sure. It's people that are afraid of doing the right thing. Like these school teachers.
Yeah, exactly. And Brandon's 100% right. The way you solve that problem is by creating an incentive that doing the wrong thing is 10 times more detrimental. Because if you've created a system where doing the right thing puts you at risk, then you have to amend the system.
And principals are afraid to do the right thing. And that's fine. I got my why. But either way, they're failing to do the right thing for one reason or another. And some of them are bad. I'm giving you
Can
enough.
somebody give these guys an electric fly swatter? So you can get one of these. All right, listen. So you get one of these right here, and they're really cheap. They're on Amazon. You've got the Dragon Slayer Greatsword, Gut Sword. You guys can definitely afford this. You just need to get one of these fucking things, and if one of those bugs flies around, you just zap them. It's super easy. For like $3.
This case might have been fluke. It could have been like, kids experimenting and then one of them got scared. It could have been absolutely nothing. It still could be absolutely nothing. I left 6 messages on a principal's voicemail saying, hey, I just need you to talk to me. I need the phone numbers of the parents. I only have the phone numbers of the kids. I don't want to call the kids. Please give me the phone numbers of the parents, of the adults of these kids, of the police report that you called 911 for, to have police already show up. I just don't have the phone numbers for the parents. I can't get a return phone. How many times do I have to call a school principal to be like, hey, there's a potential school assault. I just need to talk to the parents. And I can't get a return phone call? I don't. Wild. And like,
well, if they're not doing the return phone call, there's a certain point where negligence becomes malice. And if you are so negligent that you are, and I think this is malice, by the way, because you're deleting footage. Like, negligence is just not giving a fuck and not reporting anything. But if you're actively hiding things, then that's something that's very different.
And for some reason, they're protected. And my opinion, from all of this and everything else, is that it is the legal representatives of Buffalo City schools that are advising, educating, scaring, whatever you want to say, these administrators, teachers, counselors. Don't talk to police. Don't make a police report. Have the police report, instead of saying sexual assault, make it information only. Well, we go to various schools up with the kids, have fucking cops show up, and then have them write down everybody's name and say information only, and then don't forward it to special victims. Yeah, 5 kids.
You didn't play 10 minutes are very long at all, did you?
Oh,
right? They're 14, he's 16. It doesn't fucking matter if it's not a crime or if it's intentional. If somebody said that and I felt bad about it, it's my job to investigate. Why are you stopping?
And so, yeah, exactly. It's not the police, it's not the school administrator's job to distinguish whether it's or not. Their job is only to report what's happening. Like, they're not the investigator. This is some shit.
Yeah, main podcast. If you want to throw it at the end, it's cool. But I might be asking for financial assistance after this goes live, but I'm okay with it.
I'm just that. Yeah, this is something that I learned from the podcast is interesting to open it up to like first responders. I've read a lot of those stories, and first responders get like PTSD. I think it's like for the active duty military, when you go to war, it's like it's highs and lows. Like you just get a shit show or nothing. Like it's all over the place. Like first responders, it's just a constant thing. And like you being in the smack dab middle of both, bro, I don't know how you do it. Like people in general, like cops in general who deal with like sex crimes or child sex crimes, I couldn't do it. I'd be going to prison.
It's the idea of like at least he's right. When you're talking about military trauma, it's like that's over there.
You're in war. Well, that's the thing. You're in war. You are fighting the enemy. You're like chances are innocent you're not taking the life of the innocent. It's very rare. You're fighting enemy combatants. You're shooting blah blah blah, and then you come back and you're like, and it's a separation versus here. And it's not the innocent you're seeing it interacting with or pulling up to a crime scene.
Okay, there's also like the meta level thing where there's like this resentment and distaste for police officers. And so anytime a police officer displays a level of vulnerability, you have like a certain toxic part of the internet that is like even happy about them. I think there's definitely that's going on too, right? There's like an entire culture. Yeah, there's a culture that dehumanizes these people and makes it okay to laugh at their suffering.
It's like, hey, there was.
While they're trying to do something good, right?
Maybe got some bad news. Maybe you have to go.
And that's going on around the time.
Yeah, it's like an acute injury versus just like sustained overuse injury, almost. Yeah.
Like I would join the military and go to war for police officer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Any day.
It's up. I got mine here as well. Because of that exact. That was. You're gonna get hate for this. Did you just do a line of energy drink? Yeah. Ooh, I feel better after getting all that off my fucking chest. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm honestly I'm like for real. Like I'm fucking. I feel like there is gonna be. I am gonna have some sort of repercussions.
Here's what I think is also bad, is that what do you think the probability is that he is just identified every time that this has happened? I think the probability of that is 0. Like, these are the times that he can verifiably prove that something happened that wasn't recorded. Think about all the times where they're not recorded.
Because I'm trying to do the right thing.
We got you.
Like I feel like people.
Or there isn't
you have so many people that will have your back on that. Dude,
I will show our ass to make that happen.
I did it already.
On a different issue, yeah, you did.
Do cops have whistleblower protection? I know military does. Like,
there's a whistleblower protection for everybody. So yeah, and like if there's like a legal thing where they're gonna come after me, I bet you there's gonna be a legal thing where they come after me, and I don't know how I'm gonna be protected or what that's gonna be.
It's worked out for you. See, like this is the kind of guy you should have a Gibson to go for, right? Not some crazy psycho with a knife that stabs somebody in the chest. If that happens.
I don't know I don't know what's gonna be so far, but like the things that I just said, right? Because I'm concerned about them. It's well, you said the one case is mine, and that's how I know about it. But like
the local Buffalo News tried to dismiss it all because they were drinking in the podcast.
These are concerns.
I immediately believe you.
Higher-ranking people in the Buffalo Police Department. Yeah. These are concerns from patrol people in the Buffalo Police Department. These are concerns from the district attorney's office is like, this is fucked up. I've got this. I've got that. This is going on. That's how I know that like the lawyers from. That's the information that back up that thinking that the lawyers that represent the schools are not just not responding, but also obstructionists, which is, one, I mean, there has to be a different response here. But there has to be some sort of paper trail for this. If they're communicating, they can't be saying all this. If I can be frank, everybody, there's got to be a paper trail. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to write the whole thing. You're a lawyer, and instead of assisting the police department in protecting the kid, because you represent the video, instead of assisting them, you're going to intentionally obstruct them. You're going to not respond to subpoenas. You're going to not respond to court orders. You're going to think that you're so high up in the law, you've got no repercussions of that. Because, like, you need somebody above. And that's the worst thing about it, is that nothing has happened. And they're not even, and this is what I find to be so fun, is people are complaining about judges.
Oh, yeah.
These people are just random school administrators in their Illinois centers. This is nuts. They represent the school district, not the kid. That's the thing. You know what the worst thing about it is? I think that's a really good way to put it. I think you're totally right. What's the judge going to do? Hey, give this to me. Yeah, I haven't given you anything, and I'm not going to give you anything. And nothing happens. Like, where the else do you go? The commissioner of police can't do shit about that. You know what I mean? Maybe we can make an arrest here or there, but then we need the assistant district attorneys and the district attorney of Erie County needed to have her back and do that. And if there's assistant district attorneys that are like, dude, these lawyers aren't even responding to us. Like, we don't know. Like, we got to get somebody higher above our DA to do something, or the DA to do something. I don't know, like, who can do something. And it's gotten so bad. It's that, like, this is my, like, I drink it fucking this. I just hate how bad it's gotten to the fact that you leave the other described podcast.
best outlet because Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I love this because every single other media outlet is so curated and controlled. That's the reason why podcasts and individual media have been growing so much. It's because even some larger alternative media has run into this problem also. Like, I know that people criticize Ben Shapiro and like his company for doing this, for example, right? Is that they're so controlled and they have these ulterior motives, and it's almost like as a media company, the bigger you get, the more the temptation is to work against the best interest of the public. The Daily Wire is the Israel mouthpiece. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. And I was just bringing this up to say that, like, it's not just mainstream media. This is something that's been going on with alternative media as well. I can guarantee that. All of that side part too, because it's like, because, you know, we know you, we love you, we're here for you, like we're
I know that you guys will do your best to protect me, but at the same time, like,
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, right? I mean, like, if this guy has any sort of, you know, if the school tries to sue him or whatever, and he does a fundraiser, I would share it, I would support it myself personally. This is something that I think is a worthy cause, much more than the ones that we're promoting nowadays. I think that many people, right? And so I don't think this guy's alone. I think that the fact is that, I would say probably 90%, maybe even probably more than that, of like men in like this country and also just in the world feel exactly the way that they do. Like, yeah, 99%. I said, yeah, there's a very small subset of people that are these like weird, like there's so much weird about this, right? Like, I don't even think sometimes what happened. Basically, there's a school district in Buffalo, New York, that is Buffalo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? And so anyway, that's it. Okay, so they not only are not reporting instances of kids being abused, but on top of that, they're actively deleting evidence of the abuse happening. There was a kid abducted from the school, and the parents were not even told that it happened. And the video evidence of the abduction was deleted, and the only evidence that it happened was reported by a third party. And attempted, excuse me. It didn't happen, but it was happening and it was stopped.
Thank you. I know it's going to happen, right? I'm not here. I've been around the legal system long enough, and I know how if you shake the right tree, something's going to happen. Like, I know what people is they're going to say that whatever I said, they're going to pick it apart, they're going to go through all my videos, they're going to do this right now, what I'm saying. They're going to go, you violated the department policy procedure, and they're going to go, you violated this, of whatever procedure, and you should be fired, you need to be removed, you're suspended, and here you go. And so what's going to happen is, a guy himself, if I can toot my own horn, who's a hard worker, who's been crushing his cases to
this is, I think, one of the problems that happens to a lot of people that work inside of these different departments is that their enthusiasm turns to almost cynicism when they feel like they're being oppressed by the bureaucracy of the machine that they're inside of. And I think that's why you have so many of these police officers and people that work in these different organizations that are effectively trained to happen. Because it's just like, you know, they come into it with like a certain level of righteousness. That righteousness is undermined by endless levels and layers of bureaucratic
It like fucking won't block.
They can't talk about it. They can't do anything about it. And eventually you do that for 20 or 30 years and you stop getting it. I think that's what happens.
If I may ask that, if whatever you guys do to special interview investigators, you special victims or others, a good at stuff. Yeah, just a good at so I know that I just know the squeeze is gonna happen to where
you'll be down from your wall. Yeah.
There's gonna be. I feel like there's gonna be.
You're right. Righteousness could be perceived as a, you know, like a, you know, pejorative. Yeah, he's trying to do his job. He's trying to do his job. Yeah, for sure.
Questions of my career, they're gonna be that important because that if Nobody else has done this yet.
Why?
Wait, I guarantee
You're way more money than their attorneys do. I guarantee
Do we know who the attorneys are? I don't know the names of the attorneys. But I can say that if they are the attorneys that represent the Buffalo school system, and that they are attorneys that have been receiving the subpoenas, that those attorneys that have been receiving the subpoenas have not been responding.
I'm pretty comfortable dying on the hill and protecting
It's just like morally, I'm 100% like morally, like fuck off. I know what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be repercussions. And like that's one of those weird things where like I love being a cop. I'm not going to stop being a cop. I could have this career, but I love being a cop. But I'm worried that my thing is, I think they're going to suspend me for investigation. They're going to take the detectives of the right thing off the fucking street.
Look at half the movie. That's the truth. I mean, and by the way, it's easy for me to say because I don't have to cash this check. He does. But I think, like, honestly, like this podcast, a lot of these guys, like, my audience, etc., like, these are all, like, pretty much, this is the money demographic, right? Middle-aged men and young guys, yeah. Like, a lot of people do it. Like, if any demographic to have, this is the money demographic.
For an indefinite period of time. My biggest fear is I don't know lose my job for it, even though I know they'll come after me for it. My next biggest fear is that they're just going to take me off the table and they're going to fucking take me on an administrative leave for 10 years until I force retire, and I'm never going to be able to help the kid again.
That'd be such a bad bitch month. Yeah.
You make a change.
I'll put it this way, we got some contacts that could probably make this terrifying for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it's all from the Institute of Call for Boston.
Yeah. So I think that, and like that stroke,
What's that? About it.
Was like,
what's rubber with not your fault.
No, bro.
That's not your fault. Yeah, that's my well, I didn't cause that. Well, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to catch the black. And I'm okay with the black. What I don't want is to like not put it at the club. We'll make sure that I got a million homies. Yeah, I'll fucking tough with it.
I'll fucking look at our numbers and say my gang's bigger.
Dude.
I mean, I don't know if I'm invited, but I'm down.
Yeah. So,
Well, that was a little heavy.
yeah, say that again. So, let me tell you something, right? There is a slippery slope, which is one of the reasons why there's been like some pushback. But it's a slippery slope, and that's why it's difficult to charge not reporting when you're in that area. In New York State, there is New York State penal law. I forget what it is, but it's failing to report, right? Now, that can fall under. I'll give you two examples that are very different, right? Failing to report can be the situation that I talked about the building. This is a podcast, that something's happening to you and not reporting, right? It can also, technically, under the law, right, the white and black of it, it can also be done if you beat up your kid, a 911 call, and I police officer come up, and I arrest you for that, and I take you to jail, but I don't report it. So that's one of the things that's going to keep me, I think, potentially at bay, is that there's instances where the police made an arrest, but they didn't report, which is like, it's like, to me, is bullshit. They made the arrest has been effective. A rookie cop would assume that I've done literally the highest amount of things I can do. I've effected an arrest. I've just taken a report and sent it to court. I've made an arrest. New York State now knows this person's been arrested. So it's how to be, and they bring him in. And so I know that that's one of the issues when it comes to going to somebody that has failed in the court. Because if the legal system is the legal system.
I think there's a very big difference too. Also, if you're talking about a police officer not reporting something as he's arresting somebody for a certain crime, this is like an administrative error. But whenever you're talking about like a counselor not reporting something, this is a deliberate obfuscation. Like you see kind of like where there's like a very big difference here. Is it like one cop fucks up by not reporting it right? This is done, oops, I'm a dumbass. And then the counselor doesn't report it, oops, I'm a piece of fucking shit. That's the difference.
So you gotta do it to them all. And sometimes, you know, people in the legal system don't see the gray. And the gray is the police officer made a good judgment by effecting the arrest and maybe failed to report, but in that failure to report, it wasn't an intentional failure to report. He made an arrest and assumed that that was enough, which I think we can all agree is like an understandable mistake, right? That's when you have a good system that works. You know, if you affect on questions, you have to make a report. That should be done by maybe a report technician or by New York State by checking a box and saying, oh, hey, this person was arrested for this.
Yeah, it's a bureaucratic mistake.
CPS. But that's very different from my example of the school counselor failing to report not once. Now we would let that slide. Okay, my dad beats me. All right, this kid's a liar a little bit. Where are the bruises? See the bruises? Fuck. So then I don't bruise up that well. I'm like, all right, this is weird. You should report that. But everybody makes a mistake. I can, all right, got it. But if somebody fucking shows up reporting on their phone and says, hey, this is walks away, and then later on in the day, you go back to that kid and then you phone that kid, fuck off. You don't get to do your job anymore. You can't. Yeah. So those are two different things. And that's one of the things that I know with like this slippery slope. If you go against the counselor that the officer is wrong, that can bring in litigation to say, well, we have to treat the officers that need to do the CPS report, Child Protective Services report, where they made the arrest.
Remember what I said about how, like, in video game companies, they create these levels of bureaucracy where accountability is displaced through so many different people that nothing can ever change and nothing can ever be done. One thing I think with accountability is that there's like a degree of bureaucratic entropy that happens within systems, and you need to regularly flush that out. And I think that's what's happening in this circumstance, is that you have this accountability that's being displaced among too many people. And because the accountability is displaced among so many people, nobody actually wants to do anything to step outside the line, because it might put everybody at risk, and there's no way you can actually do accountability because there's so many chains of command and so many chains of like behavior or action that's usually involved. It's very hard to say. And I think here's the worst thing about this is that I think that in a lot of these cases it's done by design. I think that people create these bureaucratic Gordian knots in order to make it impossible to unravel who actually is doing things wrong, so it's easier for them to just simply not do their job. That's what's happening. That's what I actually think that it's happening like that. But it's in video games, it's in education, it's in corporations, it's in probably the military, I don't know. It's everywhere. It's job security? Yes, exactly. It's too big to move? Yeah.
There is officer discretion. That officer discretion is passed down from the ADA. Which means that if I see something happening with the offender, you go through a stop sign. I have the discretion to not give you a stop sign. The ADA, the district attorney,
is a good example of this, just so you guys can understand the context, is that an officer has discretion to give you a speeding ticket until you're going 20 miles over the speed. And at that point, he's compelled by law to give you a speeding ticket. But before that, it's up to him.
Discretion to say, all right, you effected an arrest. You weren't intentionally covered before you CPS you made the arrest. He effected a mistake. You made it the next time. Fix it, right? And then you also have discretion.
Yeah, like that's an example. Like how do we general idea?
Until the third time that kid came into school, black and blue, and they arrest her blood father.
Dude, I love it. It's great. And I never expected to have like this emotional like reaction to it. But like, it seems like the dichotomy.
And you see how the bureaucracy of this trains police officers into apathy and cynicism, right? Like I think that like all this fits together. Like it's awful to experience, but it's also awful knowing that if I'm not there to stop it.
Yeah, and I can. Like that, dude. It's like being to fucking pull my own work. It's like being a drill sergeant. If I see a private fuck up and they do the wrong thing, all the other drill sergeants are like, well, you be careful with that one. That one might make a complaint on you. Yeah, you do the right thing. But I'm going to discipline that private. Well, the same thing here. Like, fuck the people that aren't doing their job. They should do their job. I'm not questioning.
I think this is also, again, like another Karen bureaucracy thing, is that when you're dealing with law enforcement, and primarily all men, there are instances where yelling at somebody is the right decision. I'm sorry. Especially if you're dealing with a bunch of young men. That's how you deal with it. But the problem is that, you know, inside of a Karen bureaucracy, you don't understand that. Like, how many of you guys have had, you know, like, what the fuck, yeah, how many of you guys have had a situation when you were a young guy, you know, aged 14 to probably 20, somewhere around there, and you were acting like a fucking retard, and you got yelled at, and fucking set straight, and after that, things were better. Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not saying they should beat the shit out of you. I'm not saying anything like that. But there is a degree of natural male friction that happens that I think a lot of Karen bureaucracies don't understand.
But, hey, listen. If you make if you are, what would you call it? Reckless. A cover-up, intentionally preventing the district attorney's office from gathering information after you're subpoenaed by court orders or judges, etc. And fuck you. If you're just anything,
it's about holding people right? You should be put up on charges. Like that's what has to happen. That's what I do.
So it's come to that point where oh man, I have to like start to
I would be too. I'd be so stressed.
Yeah, you were. Thank you.
I'm not going to lie, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Like, I think
Here's the warrant for your arrest. Also, fuck you. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
It's taken so much to not help you.
Yeah,
How do you want us to start?
What's that? How do you want us to start? I think that if we just did. Yeah, no, I know we did.
I'm not gonna lie, like hearing you talk about that and then Brandon brought up like, you know, if you're not there, then
Dude, there's a lot of people that care and don't know what to do, and they're like, we're trying to do this, we're trying to move this forward, and I'm top gas. This is,
I think this is also the reason why a lot of movies like Batman and like old westerns are so popular, especially with guys, is that all of this kind of stuff is antithetical to what I think the human perception of true justice is. Even vigilante movies, yeah, exactly, right? Because, like, and I'm not justifying, I'm not saying vigilante justice is good, but I'm saying that, like, all of this fits together and it paints, I think, a very, very clear picture, right? People are looking for moral justice, not legal justice. That's a very important distinction.
spot for 2 years. Heaven help us in how long we've been in that same spot. My God, like, I know we've been in the same spot since I became in 2023. And if we were still in that, if we were in that spot,
correct now. I don't know how far back that begins. And like I said, there's a lot of good people in the ADA's office and the commissioner's office by the police department. There are good people that have been trying to find a way to fix it. And they're frustrated. And they're limited with what they can do. They're just looking like, hey man, I'm pushing up the chain of command, I keep getting these things, I keep seeing these things. And it's like, honestly,
this is exactly what I was saying. Yep.
I'm not ignoring it. And
Training people to have it.
I started getting counseling on last week. Jesus,
That's a good thing.
That's a really good. So I got counseling last week, and then a couple days ago, it's like
a lot. Saying something like a Me Too movement. This is actually, you know what? Like I'm ironically you're here. I'm gonna read this guy's comment. They need something like a Me Too movement. People need to mask come forward and whistleblowers. The majority can't be disciplined. I think this is. Yeah, and I'm smart at this moment, basically. Yeah, we're fucking sure.
Oh, Rich, I think we can all say you're not ever going to job in this.
Yeah. I got an interview like this. They recorded it. The interview with me,
Well, outside of all the millions
So I
of
think there's a chance this man just severely underestimates how long legal
Millions
proceedings
and
take.
millions and millions of people.
Well, I think that isn't that circular logic to a certain degree? Is that the problem is that things are taking so long. So the answer to why they're taking so long is because they take a long time. I don't think that really, like that doesn't necessarily okay, never mind.
fake people.
We all look good. Yeah, shut up. All right, let's see some jokes for the after show now.
Hey, Rich, I speak for the entire table. We will always have your back, no matter what, buddy. The entire community will rally. Thank you so much.
I think again, another really important component to this is that I bet this is only the tip of the iceberg. I do, because these are the ones that they can verifiably confirm were threats. Think about how many of them that were successfully suppressed.
To the world.
I think all that.
Be proud of everything.
The school made a decision saying, we're going to look at it.
We were blessed to share.
I'm going to send you guys the video. Yeah, give it a like, give it a sub. Unsubscribe to
Most important, loves helping others. Still, most free as a true son. You don't have to be police officer. He chooses to be actually to make a difference. That is so rare to find a human like that. That's why he is.
You know what I think? I actually disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of guys out there that want to go out and make a difference, and they are trained into apathy by the oppressive nature of these systems.
Very, very good friend.
I think there's a lot of people like that.
Why stress how lucky we are to have an individual like that in our lives. Be proud of yourself, man. I hope you know that. That is from all the love from all the guys. We're just blessed to have you. And I know it wasn't easy doing that message, crying in front of crying on campus, crying in front of others. It's difficult. It's not easy to put yourself out there with that. And you did. You had so much respect for all of us. So thank you for everything. Thank you for being who you are. Glad you were made. Thank you.
Well, there it is. Wow. Okay. Yeah, again, Unsubscribed Podcast. They have a part 2. The part 2 is an hour long. Depending on how the reception for this is and everything. I know, obviously, like,
you know, a lot of you guys, you know, it's like kind of it's kind of like a heavy topic, right? But like whenever I saw this, I was like, okay, I have to talk about this, right? This is pretty crazy, right? But I'm not gonna watch it today, right? And just because I'm not gonna watch it today, I've got other things I want to do. But doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch it. It's not right this moment. So yeah. Anyway, there it is. Yeah, for sure. And anyway, Don says that control doesn't matter. Going Powerball, yeah. People are very, very supportive of this. And this video went very viral for their podcast too. Like if you look at a lot of their other episodes, you know. Like this podcast is really popular, but like, you know, you're looking at 300 and 400 and 500, you know, like usually like somewhere around 500,000 views. This one has 1.6 million, right? So it definitely hit outside of at least like their orbit of like audience, and hopefully, you know, like me talking about it, like, you know, like putting it out to like my audience too will help out for people too. Because yeah, I have no idea about this. Now I heard that the school district actually reported they reported about this themselves. Is that correct? That the school district also has had a response to these guys doing the video, right? And so let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at it. This is the statement from the Buffalo school. So let's go ahead and take a look at it in just a second. Active Mons, have a look at this week? Yeah, sure. So we got a bunch of fucking retards over here talking shit. Statement from the Buffalo Public School. A member revealed the school district is actively trying to remove it. And this is the video right here. So this is the statement the public school made as a response to this video and these allegations. They said a statement from the Buffalo Public Schools is aware of the unfortunate and recent allegations circulating in an online video. The district is prepared to vigorously address these untruths. The district has prioritized the safety and security of its students and staff every day. APS is the second largest largest district in New York City, or New York State. Yeah, right. There's some 60 schools, 30,000 students, and any transgressions that may happen are handled swiftly with seriousness, fairness, empathy, and integrity. Surely. Okay, so they have proposed an investigation on the sheriff's department. Welcome. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. There it is. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Yeah, there you go. And thank God. Now, let's see if there's any information on. So, what about these guys being drunk? Because I read somebody say like they were getting discredited because they were drunk. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true or not. Can somebody find me the local news did it? It is on his. Okay, good. Let me see if I can find it real quick. You can go on. I'll see what we can do. And let's see where it goes. New charges filed in Buffalo schools incident highlighted in podcast. According to court documents, the Illinois native faces no felony charges. Wait, okay, so hold up. So this is a bit of an update here. Am I getting this right? That so all of these things are up. Wait a minute. So if they're all untrue, then why did they lead to a new felony? Why did they lead to a new felony charge? Ah, jeez, guys. I wonder what the reason for that is. Oh, what a big fucking mystery. How could this have happened? Yeah, that's right. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I guess they just arrested them because of the podcast, right? Detective Hendricks at Buffalo Schools. Shout out, yeah. And this is a charge done by the police, of course, right? And this is the original video. And let me see. So, is there any information about this, about the article written about them that is negative? Because that was the thing that I wanted to look at before. Oh, by the way, Donut, just to keep in mind who this guy is, I've talked to him a couple times before. He's a really nice guy. And he was the one that paid the fine for the. I think that the. Let me make sure that I'm 100% right on who it is. There was a South Korean Yeah, a South Korean Navy SEAL YouTuber was fined $7,000 for attacking Johnny Somali, and he said, "I just did what I needed to do as a Korean citizen." And then he obviously had and then Donut paid the fucking fine for him. So that's who this guy is, right? And yeah, beat the shit out of Johnny Somali, right? Yeah, exactly. Fuck him. And so anyway, where's the article about this? I want to find it because I just want to see another. Anytime that I can find an instance of media being dishonest or disingenuous, I want to find it. Goblin Slayer? Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, fuck. Ripped Up Grants, can I send you the link? I posted it to your ex? Yeah, tag me in it on Twitter and I can take a look at it there. Let me see if I can pull it up myself.
Avenge.
Okay. Where is... I'm not seeing any in the articles. Yeah, I'm not seeing this, bro. Like, where is this? By looking at Buffalo Channel 4 News. Okay, sure. I guess I can try to find that. Right. Bro. Those autocomplete. Damn. Okay. Let me see if I can find any information about this. Hiding crimes against kids. Accusations made. Is this it? I guess the podcast seriously. I don't know if this is really it or not. He since appeared on more national podcasts for not responding quickly to personal allegations. Something surfaces. Yeah, is this it? I'm not sure if this is it or not. Exit out of that. It's not this one? Okay. Does it actually have the title? Does it actually have the title of it at all? Because if I can find the title, then it will be easier for me to do it. Yeah, give me 1 second. It's on X.
Dude, what is happening with this game right now?
Thanks a lot. Okay, we got Kurt Felder, one of my mods in chat. Huge W. Oh, it's an actual video? Oh, shit. Wait. Instead of focusing on the allegations of child abuse, cover up first. You go after unsub.
Well, let's start the movie about Fresh with what is a very hot topic right now.
Fresh with allegations.
Oh my gosh, I mean, seeing this come in over the weekend and reading about it and the headlines, it's always what's going on. So what are your reports on an accusation about the Buffalo Public School District hiding sexual abuse and sexual assault among students? This is what one police officer, Buffalo police officer, did.
So let's look at the first thing.
Larger conversation here. This is the part where we get to share your voice and really dive into today's topics. And today's topic is one that a lot of people are weighing in on Facebook, reading on the WPW page right now on our website. So we're going to do one of the
Dude.
Has come forward to expose allegations of sexual abuse among students in schools and then a deliberate cover-up among administrators and lawyers for the public school district. So it's all kind of one school to the Buffalo Science Museum. So that I came out over the weekend on the podcast and beat all of these allegations of what's happening in school says terribly false and untrue.
Great.
Then why did it
I can't fucking play.
for the thing that they said happened?
So while they say that there's nothing to worry about, so
what a surprise.
We're just taking into want to share with obviously a lot
all going on. That's all kind of going through my mind. This story, I knew I heard it, it's all kind of going through my mind. And immediately I'm like, what's going on? And claims that they are hiding sexual assault on students, and that's really right.
What a joke.
He says, look, I know these are serious things, and I know that I get in trouble for saying this, but I've got to be the voice for the one who's speaking out.
So I'll be honest with you, I started watching this podcast, and my first thought was, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm listening to all these guys burp and just be absolutely foul.
What is nasty? And how much? What is it like? So let's get this straight. So now they're not dressed in a good way on the podcast. Do you want to know what's really terrifying for these news anchors? Let me tell you the fucking truth of why they're scared. The fact is that this podcast probably gets infinitely more people watching them than this shitty news show. So the reason why they're upset and they're afraid is because these podcasts put them at risk. That's the reason why they don't like the podcast. It's not because of any sort of journalistic integrity. Well, she can do that. But it's just because it puts them at risk. Like talking about alcohol? No, there's alcohol and non-alcohol.
WABE just released our training.
The non-alcoholic White Claws. I drank some of them. Okay.
The only thing I can think of is he posted it on his Instagram that he's playing his character. He thinks it's April 1st, so he thinks it's a April Fool's. He's playing a character.
Crazy. Like, I'm listening to all these guys.
Because if that's the case, then I think WWE is stupid for releasing
How are
him.
they being absolutely foul? What does that even mean?
He put so many butts in seats, in my opinion.
What is that? What does this even mean?
Like the White Claws on
Yeah.
the table, there's alcohol involved
You like
here,
this
My
thing
where are
first
they?
thought is, okay, this can't actually be real. But then when you actually listen to the allegations, you unpack what he's saying and understand that this guy is killing dollars, and
He's a public figure because he's paid for with taxpayer dollars. That's not what being a public figure means. It's just not. What? Don't you have to tell
this little clip out there on his social media pages, allegations called his support to understand
you find the voice of the well to make it seem like this detector is coming out there to get attention. And so he introduced it in this way to poison the well for the audience to think that he's the bad actor.
And it'll give you the here.
He's not just a random guy. He is a local He's going out and not only on this podcast, he's both ways and he's wondering why he came here and talk to us.
His job, I would argue, is what he is most at risk of bringing back the brand. Coming out here and saying something and talking to the public and he believes 100% true and they see it. Sure, he's been more confusing. We had a long name, terrible all over. I want to go to the comment here. There's way too much going on. And race, we don't know if it's true, but if it is, what the hell is wrong with them and how are they working?
So you're reading, you're checking the chat, and you somehow think that you're above a punch.
People every single day in a Good Morning View, the amount of news going on in our world, Denise says, my question is, why nobody came back to the and that's the question. Officially, there's something that happens to you, like, is this true? Everyone will be able to and what's going on now, like,
If I could pick
option in YouTube to do actually pay for it. I see the guys who like take like boat planes and first class and stuff, and they review the amenities and stuff. Get that are even some guys they take public transit all the way to different states and stuff. Just public transit and not working and everything. I know like Adam just did it from him going to Seattle, just public transit. Possible. It just takes 6 days. I mean, it's $120
of the but actually they could just omit the part where the kids are involved. So if the Buffalo School District wanted to prove this wrong, they would just show the security camera footage of this person, the abductor, coming in and leaving the school. Because, I mean, right? That would immediately disprove.
Kill me and this war.
But if they don't have the footage, how far back do they have all the footage? And if they're missing this specific footage, why is that? Ah, jeez, dude. Oh, man, I wonder. Eli's the host. Eli's in the chat. What's his name? Eli Double Tap. Is that him? Wait, oh, is this him? Oh, fuck. That's actually Eli. Let me see. User.
Oh, well, let me see that. I hope the lady was like carrying like
bro, like
attacks of monsters. I go, man, that's a lot of monsters you got there.
Yeah, thanks.
Mind your own business.
I know, I think there's like monsters or something like that if you follow for a while. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm really excited to find out what the follow-up to this is. I am, man. I really am. And thanks a lot for putting this out there. Yeah, we totally support you. And, you know, if anything bad happens, you know, like, our community is totally, is totally in support. Yeah, we do.
Fuck, man.
Where there was an attempted kidnapping, attempted abduction, inside the school,
LR. Yeah.
I feel like this is the easiest thing, right? It's so, like, am I crazy? It's so fucking easy.
The construction is trying to so there is a lot of legalese here and a lot of stuff that actually is a much broader picture. You look into it, start thinking about it. But what comes is the big question: where do we go from here? Sending your kids off to school, there's not a lot of people that you're sending to take care of them. In Locust Friend, I think is what it is. Like we are basically guardians for the day.
They didn't charge very well.
My question is, for different people about
oh great, let's make another advocacy for let's advocate for going through this system that caused this problem to happen.
Dude, I
Let's
just don't
advocate
get
for
it.
another bureaucratic compliance system that causes everything to effectively get filtered such that it ceases to be.
Like, my attack misses sometimes. Like, it's right on him. And then other times, like, when I go to dodge, it's, like, not working or, like, blocked.
Yeah, and like you see, and this is why I don't want to say this is like really an equal issue. But like you see why, for example, like I'm a big supporter of like Elon Musk, who's doing a lot of this ghost thing. Elon Musk is on like the bureaucratic back. I feel like these people are just an absolute cancer. Do you think it's the Democrat thing? No, I don't. I think focusing on the party affiliation weakens the that is 95% a Democrat problem. That doesn't, and I'm not saying it is, but theoretically, it's simply any bureaucratic system. And I think this happens in almost every private sector. This happens in the federal government, it happens in the local government, it happens in video game studios, it happens in tech startups once they get enough people.
There's a game studio in downtown Las Vegas here that was
This guy is making an argument. The guy on the podcast is the one there and not going to the official channels in order to make this known. But the problem is that those official channels are designed to be oppressive. And so when you create a system that effectively suppresses and makes it almost impossible for you to do certain things, then that system is effectively working against the wall. So when you make an advocacy for that system, you are effectively advocating against the goal of what the system is supposedly do.
Right, done.
That's the reason.
You beat it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's called the law of bureaucracy. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's basically it.
I don't know.
Did they say something? Sorry, let me just go ahead and double check. I don't know if it's still plugged or not. Yeah, 100% on.
Yep, game complete.
Message out, all legacy. Yeah, bro, you what? Yeah, this is the host of the podcast, by the way. Like huge W's in chat.
Hey,
Like,
7,
thank you.
6,
Yeah,
6.5, 7.
Doing it and everything, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yes, legacy media is garbage. It's so bad, and it's crazy. And again, legacy media is part of that bureaucracy. It is part of that bureaucracy. It is part of this this immovable apparatus that prevents anything from happening of value or importance. So yeah, we totally support you. If there's any degree of, what's the word? Like repercussions, collateral, or anything like that, my community is totally supportive and we'll do whatever we can. Right, we definitely can. And big shout out to Angry Cops for exposing this and putting his career at risk. Dude is a legend. Yes, again. And he's 100% correct. You want to restrict the message and control it. This is one of the problems that we have the deleted footage. So they couldn't even delete it the right way. Oh my god. So not only are they awful, they're also stupid. Who could have ever imagined? So, but doesn't that prove what he was saying? That this wasn't some nefarious Pizzagate situation. It's just a bunch of retards desperately trying to protect themselves. Oh God. Yeah, there it is. Of course, fucking retards. Exactly. Yeah, huge fucking shout out. Yes, show us footage. Well, they're probably not going to show it yet, right? I mean, why would they? You have to understand that showing the footage of this happening, I would be very reluctant to do that because there could be minors involved. I wouldn't immediately show them. That's smart for them not to immediately show. Yeah, think about this. Just, and I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
There's an online of this?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because it's not showing up.
Yeah, I guess they don't have one of the dark ages, I guess. I guess the Eternal and the first new version of it, they do.
Yeah, there's nothing on this.
Oh, wow. I would think they would have had it on that one. They have Sprint. They don't have the multiplayer.
Okay. What a rat fuck. I do.
Maybe they didn't even bother doing the multiplayer. Maybe the multiplayer didn't do good.
What a weasel.
So they just didn't waste their time.
Oh.